Welcome to the show. I just got off work, so we're going to wing it. Hopefully we get some people in here, Ghost. We'll see what happens. I literally am driving out of my work parking lot. Like, I wasn't sure I was going to even make it. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're a little bit early. We're going to wait for our guest host to get here, and we're going to see where this goes. I think she's got a lot of great information. I think it's going to be awesome. Normally I'd play some sick-ass beats or something, but I'm in my car, so can't do that. Thought I'd be home like an hour and a half ago. But that's not how it played out. Please like and retweet the space. Welcome to the space, JD UFO. We're running a little early, so we're waiting for it to fill up and get some people in here and get our guests to show up. Oh, he's gone. And he's gone. Probably Rob Wood or someone else running a space at the same time I am, knowing how this community works. We're going to have a good conversation, though. She's a VFX artist. She understands the ins and outs of the video better than I ever could. So I am really excited to get a chance to talk to her. You know, I think these videos they've taken a lot of people by storm, you know. I mean, I know Ashton pretty well. I've been on multiple shows with Ashton. One of Ashton's first shows was with me. But I've always told him, and I will always tell him, that the videos are just obviously fake. I mean, they are not real. And it's not really, for me, it's not really so much the videos being fake. It's also just the lore behind it. It's like people were kidnapped by the government and sent to Diego Garcia. 230 souls on board were teleported using technology from the future. It's just like, what? Like, that is just outrageous. That is like the most wild claim. Like, could you imagine? Like, why would they only use that technology to do that? Like, they would use it for everything. I mean, like teleportation all over the place. Like all kinds of shit would go missing. I guess, like, they had it also in the 40s, and that's where the Bermuda Triangle comes from, the teleportation technology. Oh, there she is. We got her up here. It's just wild to me. Like, and then, you know, the community gets really rabid. You know, like when me and Ashton were arch enemies, they would attack me all the time, and I would just go at them because I don't give a shit. Everybody knows me. I don't give a shit. But hopefully that co-host just worked and she didn't just disappear. We'll see what happens. Then she's back. Just accept the co-host there, Cryshlee, because when you're a guest in spaces, it's always the best thing to do to co-host your guest. That way they have some control over the room, and it kind of locks you into the space a little bit better with how it works. Like anchors you down. But we'll get started here in just a second. Like, I really thought I was going to be off work like 2 freaking hours ago, but I'm literally driving down the road. Otherwise, Cryshlee, I'd have badass music playing. I'd have my voice changer and my soundboard going. It's usually a blast, but we're going to listen to the sounds of my wheels on the road, I guess. But welcome to the space. How you doing?
Hi, I'm
nice
sorry.
To meet you.
I'm doing good. I always have to like reconfigure my space just to get in, but thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you here. You know, I mean, I've been keeping an eye on you for a while, but Stephen Cambion is a good friend of mine. Lou Reviews is a good friend of mine. Arson Tony is a good friend of mine. And I know they were all going to have you on, and I was like, man, but she hasn't done a space yet, you know? Like, I'm a spaces host. You know, let's get her on here. The spaces are wild. Spaces are like the Wild West.
I've been on one space earlier this week, but I think this one is more geared towards MH370X, right?
Yeah. What were you in, like a space to vote for Trump or Biden? What were you doing?
No, it wasn't a space that was this dedicated, but we did talk about the videos.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, this is a show I run. It used to be a lot bigger, but I took a break from Twitter for like 3 months and like killed my entire audience. Which happened. But it's called the Extraterrestrial Explorers Enclave. That name is from when I was a true believer and used to love videos from Linda Moulton Howe and Lou Elizondo. But you know, I've kind of gotten on the skeptic debunker side of it. But I do still believe in crazy things happening to people. I love hearing people's stories and things like that. But, you know, these MH370 videos are just obviously not real. I mean, I don't even know why you have to go through all the effort you're going through, but thank God you are. Because I know when it first happened, I told Mick West, I was like, bro, you got to lock this down, bro. This shit's running off the rails. He was like, I just can't even waste my time. I was like, well, off the rails it goes. And it's continued on its journey deep into the woods, nowhere near the tracks. So, Cryshlee, what got you into this? What was it that that where you just were like you walking through the woods and like a golden light shined before you and they're like, you must take down MH370 videos? Or were you just in YouTube and you were like, oh shit, I'm gonna be a VFX artist?
No, so the first time I heard about this was actually, I saw the infamous Danny Jones interview. I think it was posted on the Cringe subreddit. And when I saw that, I was intrigued and fascinated because the people who had already debunked this had made a very compelling case. And as a VFX artist myself, it was really easy to see, and just like seeing how it kind of spiraled out of control from there. So when I saw that video, it was December, and it was right before the cloud photos were found. It was either right before or right after. And once the cloud photos were found and I saw the harassment that the photographer was getting, that's when I was like, no, there has to be something that needs to be done. Like, we've been kind of watching from the sidelines for the most part, but at this point I feel like it's important to be the other voice. They've been very loud for a long time, and a lot of the stuff that has been pushed is not accurate. So I think it's really important to kind of give clarity there.
I agree. And, the thing is like, it hasn't been an even keel at all. It's been just like 4 or 5 people going, man, this is like obviously not real. And everyone's like, how dare you? Like, I'll fucking kill you and your kids. Like, whoa, buddy. Like, well, it's just, it looks fake to me. And then people are like, all right, let's break it down. And then Danny Jones happened and Julian Dory and all of that stuff. And then it got even weirder and it just kept going and going. So yeah, I agree. It's just wild. And the thing too is the truth. I say this a lot, but the truth doesn't really care, other than just being the truth. But it does suck that you sometimes have to find it and hope that is the truth. But I think when it comes to these videos, when it comes to this, I mean, they're just obviously fake. But there's like this whole lore behind them, people getting teleported to Diego Garcia, like all kinds of stuff, like the government hiding teleportation technology, and then like just people being ravenous on the other side of it, like, threats and all kinds of crazy stuff. Me and Ashton used to get into it all the time. We're pretty chill now. I told him I was going to do this. I told him he could come on. He said, no, thank you. And I was like, whatever, man. Like, you do you. I mean, I've always said that they were fake. But so why don't you give us a little bit about yourself? What is your expertise? Just lay it all on us. Like, why do you feel like you are well suited to look into this? And I would like to add that I do believe that you are, but just go ahead and lay it on us.
Yeah. So, I was a 3D generalist for a little bit after I went to school. I was an art major. And I studied 3D design, animation, and all that stuff. Once I left school, I went into teaching and I taught what I learned to students, middle school. We did 3D, we did game design, we did all kinds of related subjects. And then once COVID happened, I had to leave and I went into business for myself. I was with another studio for a little bit. I recently left them and, now I'm a little bit more independent. When I was with the studio, we mostly worked with, music artists. So people who needed music videos, stuff like that. And afterwards, I don't know. I mean, I have a film reel. If you guys are interested in looking at it, it's on my YouTube. You can find my YouTube in my bio if you're interested in seeing it. But that has like a very overview of what I've been working on for the past couple of years. But I just want to also point out that it's not really me who's, I'm not the one who put in most of the effort. There's more of us who's been looking into this, and my videos really just kind of condense everything into something smaller that everyone can kind of understand. Because I think that there's a lack of clarity here with a lot of the details of the case. So my role, or what I've been trying to do, is just provide that very clear, easy to understand, content for people who are just getting into this.
Yeah. And using a medium like, YouTube and Twitter and being able to edit things together that, maybe a whole bunch of people, right, working on something together, but being able to edit that together to show people is a really great thing, right? I mean, I think that's how MH370 even got its start. Like, everyone came together, they're all rallying together and, making up a bunch of crazy claims, and they all just were like, we're all doing this together, woohoo! And then, like, here you are doing the same thing, and you're just getting, I've seen some of it. It's just like, ugh.
It's funny.
But, yeah, it's great.
It's funny because
that you're doing it.
What I hear a lot too is that I'm part of, even though I do work with other people who are interested in investigating this, they consider me to be part of some big CIA organization. They also think I'm...
Well, yeah, you definitely worked for the CIA, Cryshlee. We know this to be true.
They also think that I'm working under Mick West and that these are Mick West's ideas, but they're trying to like create a not a scapegoat, but an enemy for people to be directed against. And that's really not the case. It's really just people who are looking at this and saying, hey, these are fake. and explaining to you how they're fake.
No, there's no way that's possible. It has to be the DoD, the NSA, NASA, the Brazilian Air Defense Force. It's all these people, just random groups of government just coming in and sweeping you off your feet and tricking you to take away the fact that the U.S. government has teleportation technology, and they stole a plane with 3 scientists on it and lithium batteries and sent them to Diego Garcia, Cryshlee. Don't you understand?
Even if that were the case, though, that's the other thing that I hate about this, though. Honestly, I mean, I know you're joking, but if the U.S. government had this crazy secret technology, what are they doing just posting it on the internet and leaving it there? If this person who quote unquote leaked the videos, it was up there for 10 years. 10 years. All they had to do was take it down. Nobody even noticed it. Does it make sense to leave it up for that long? The logic doesn't make sense.
It was to scare China, Cryshlee. They wanted China to know they could teleport Shanghai straight to the moon using 3 orbs. I don't know. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's crazy. But I mean, I agree with the fact that the government has advanced technology. I mean, shit, they made the SR-71 Blackbird in the 60s. But that's a plane. That's not a teleportation technology, hyperdrive, emotion-driven, psycho, whatever device. It's not it's not a chronovisor. We're not looking in the past to watch the crucifixion of Jesus Christ or something in the Catholic Church's vault. I mean, it just gets wild, this kind of stuff. But this community, though, can be like that, right? Like, I used to believe in a bunch of crazy shit because I'm an experiencer. I mean, I know that weird things happen, but you have to have some realism in it. So that's why I really appreciate your work. We need more people like you that have an expertise in the field to go over that, because there are tons of videos, Cryshlee. I know that MH370 is your focus right now, but I'd be curious if you ever find a video that you can't debunk, right? Like, that'd be the video I'd look at. I think that's what everyone's looking for from Mick West. Like, everyone in this community can shit on Mick West all day long. But if that dude comes, like, if he were to go somewhere and come out and go, I just saw something that made no sense, everybody in this community would hold him up. Like, we finally did it, he saw it, yes. And they would all just find it to be true. It's just how it works. But if you had to pick out a couple things from the videos that just make them, for, someone like me or other people who are here, that just make them obviously not genuine, what would you say would be like a couple of those things?
Well, first, before I answer your question, to address your earlier point, I just want to be clear, like, I'm not saying that these things don't exist or that the government doesn't have secrets. I feel like that's really important to point out. I am not debunking every single secret out there. All I'm saying is that these videos are fake. I think that something happened to MH370 that is fishy, is shady. There was probably a cover up, but I don't think these videos have anything to do with it. I just want to make that clear. But to answer your question,
I just wish that the ocean.
Exactly.
The ocean took that plane down.
Possibly, but how to get there, that's, I feel like that's worth understanding. And I feel like this whole thing is just a huge distraction from whatever actually happened to it. But regardless, to answer your question, actually, what was your question? What was your question again?
No worries. I do that to people. Do not worry. I'm all over the place sometimes. My question, and just real quick, I'm going to agree with you on that. I don't think that you're trying to debunk everything as well. And I think Ashton does a really good job of talking about, like, self-report bias and things like that. I actually told him several times, like, you should let this shit go because it's obviously fake and do what you're good at, which is talking to people and looking at advanced, possibly aerospace or whatever technology. But, and he's just telling people, like, 230 people were kidnapped by orbs and said to Diego Garcia. It's just wild to me. But my question was on the videos, on the topic of the videos. Like, when you first started researching this, after watching that podcast and reading the cringe subreddit, as we all do, what was the thing that you first stood out to you going, like, okay, like, this is obviously not genuine? And then, like, what were some things that stacked up on there that, like, put you beyond 100% confirmation that they were, in fact, not real? Was it the Regicide Anon account? Was it the VFX themselves? What was it exactly?
Right. So, right when I came into this is when the cloud photos were found. I mean, initially, again, when I first saw the videos, I did see, like, your first reaction, I guess it depends on who you are and what kind of spaces you follow. If you're in the UFO community, your first reaction might probably be, okay, this is definitely genuine. But my personal reaction was, this is clearly fake. And it's not necessarily because of the clouds or the zap or whatever. It's because the plane is getting teleported by some orbs. I feel like there would be maybe a little bit more proof that that was happening if that was the case. But beyond that, again, the clouds were found, and the clouds are probably the most important part of this, because the clouds are the cloud images were taken by a photographer who then provided the raw files for these photos. And in order for the video to even exist, it needed the clouds, right? You cannot falsify a raw image in the way that they're claiming. People have created synthetic raws, but it's not, like, at the end of the day, they don't pass the assessment test. They're not, they're just a JPEG just stuffed into a raw container. It's not the same thing. And it's understandable that most people who don't have any experience with photography would not maybe completely understand that. But the truth is, that's the nail in the coffin. It should be the only nail in the coffin, like the pyromania VFX, all the other stuff. Even though it's like up to debate, it shouldn't be, but even though it's been up to debate about where they came from, their origin, all that stuff, it still doesn't matter because the cloud photos have been proven to exist before the videos came out. Someone stitched them together in the same exact way and they match completely. There shouldn't be any other argument. However, I realize that there's still people who continue to insist that the government has some involvement, and I feel like that's what we've been kind of battling so far.
Interesting. Yeah. So the clouds are pretty crazy. They don't move, but clouds are always moving. They're fluffy masses of fluff just floating around there in the atmosphere. They're not very static, And I like what you said. Like, it shouldn't be more than that one nail, right? Even beyond the clouds. But there's like 2 nails, 3 nails. And the thing about this community, or just whenever someone believes in something so much, you can provide them with 10 and 15 truths to one obvious lie, and it won't matter. Because they'll rebunk the debunk, and then debunk the rebunk, and then they'll, like, bunk, debunk, rebunk. I don't even know, like, where it keeps going from there, which really sucks, because you just want to let people know, like, hey, like, like, this stuff could exist somewhere, like this, who knows, right? But this exact instance, the thing that we're showing in here, that you're putting all your chips in, I can tell you on the surface, isn't real, right?
Yeah, then the thing though is with the rebunking, quote unquote, I see it so much, but you cannot refute an argument without actually giving any evidence. You can't just say, I rebunked it and then not actually do anything to provide evidence to the contrary. You can't say, nuh-uh, and then have that be a valid argument. So just seeing people saying, oh yeah, we destroyed Cryshlee, we ended her career, and then not actually do anything to do so, it's laughable to me, but people are still considering it legit, and it's been such a wild experience seeing that.
Well, yeah, we got her, guys. We told her no. We gave her no substance. Now we killed her entire career. She'll never work again. Yes. Welcome to the UFO community, Cryshlee, where you don't need anything other than some dude who said he worked for the NSA come out and go, I saw aliens on the road to Black Mountain. They were real. They asked me for an element. They told me not to pull over, but I did. And then if we don't give the biologics back by 2027, we're all going to die. And everyone's like, oh, you're such a hero. Oh, God. No proof needed. No proof needed. But that is just, just how it goes. It all really stems from, in my opinion, the lack of distrust with the government. And I get that, Like I tell people all the time, like, not any of you in here would do shit for the government because you don't believe it does shit for you. And they are partially correct. I mean, right? So we have a pretty rough time with that. And then when you come out and see a video that are like, planes are being teleported to the moon or like Mars or Diego Garcia or whatever, you go like, I knew these sons of bitches had it the whole time, and you don't even look at it. Also in like the skeptic, or not the skeptic, but the conspiracy community, you'll see something, because I used to be this way. Like, you'll see something and it will trigger you in a way that makes you happy because you feel correct. But what you don't do is use any amount of critical thinking to go, wait a minute, I like this a lot. Like, maybe I like this too fucking much, and I should look at the other side of it, and then look at the parties involved. And that's what kind of killed the UFO, topic for me, is I started looking into the people and going, oh, shit, they stole a bunch of money from kids. The GoFundMe, whoa. And they're on the most popular podcast in the world. What the hell's going on here? So, yeah, I think that's where it stems from, to be honest with you. And it's fun, this hobby, it's a hobby, right? It should be fun, but this has gone beyond a hobby. This is going, into, I don't even know, Scientology type things. If you say you don't like this, we will hunt you down. And it's whoa, calm down there, bud. So, you know, and that's why I think it's really great that you're here to show people, like, you know, and with the other people that you're working with or whatever, that, you know, like, hey, like, you know, this was found in Anchorman. You know, this was in a video game. These clouds aren't fucking moving. This dude flew to Japan and took pictures of it and has his plane ticket. You know, like, here are all the facts. But what do you think, like, we could do? Do you think we just keep showing facts and eventually somehow fanatics change their mind? Or do you just have to put such a big nail in the coffin, there's not even a coffin left, there's just a giant anime-sized nail in the ground? What do you think?
No, I mean, clearly they're not satisfied with the couple of posts that I made. I feel like we have been making a difference. I feel like it's important to continue the momentum. Cause they've been doing this for, how long has it been now? 8 months? You can't really repeat that within like a week or so. We gotta kind of keep things going until we can be established as they are, right? And the only reason that they've been able to reach or, you know, grow so big is because they haven't really been contested. They've been contested, but not in an organized way, I'd say. And I feel like this is kind of their worst nightmare because they already feel like everyone is coordinated against them, when really the goal is to just show the VFX that were used in these very clearly hoaxed videos. I think that probably the most important thing is just educating. A lot of them don't know what camera raw is. They don't know how VFX artists use stock effects, and they can't visualize it in their brains. So if we can show them how things are used and how things are done in this industry, maybe the tide will turn.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That is a really good way to look at it. I mean, it's borderline like Crusades type stuff. Like, we will lead an army on the front lines, and we will meet their army, and we will find out who wins the battle. But that is the internet, right? I think that's a great way to put it. And I certainly don't understand how the hell cameras and shit work. I'm just a dude who works on a chicken farm. So I look towards people like you with actual, you know, like fucking actually does this for a living with credentials to teach me, right? And you can see the credentials through your work. So, yeah. You know, this kind of stuff, it can run rampant, right? And a lot of things in the conspiracy, I guess, like, field can. And it can do a lot of damage. I would say, like, MH370 isn't doing, like, damage like the New Age movement is, where, like, people are asking for money to go train with Thor and achieve the rainbow light body and shit. But it is still something that I would consider to be misinformation. And also, I think something that gets your eyes off of, like, may have really happened to the plane. Like, I want to know exactly why that plane went down, where it went. I think it's easier to believe they were teleported to Diego Garcia. You know, I did have someone tell me the other day that they knew for a fact that their uncle was cloned on Diego Garcia, but that's ufology in a nutshell. You know, I don't believe it. But yeah, I think keep up the momentum, you know. And another thing too is whenever this, I've known Ashton. Now Ashton is like the forefront. He's the dude who did this, right? He saw the videos. I knew him when he had 400 followers. That was one of the first shows he ever went on, and he's confirmed this multiple times in spaces and on shows I've been on with him. But whenever he started, like all these, you know, YouTube guys, you know, started like the smaller shows, would let them on there and stuff, and they were just eating it up. And I'm just sitting here like, man, this shit is obviously not fucking real. Like, you know, and like, what's going on? So I would message these guys, and they'd be like, oh, you just gotta, you know, we know it's not real, man. Just gotta keep an open mind, man. And I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, it's looking like you're doing here. And then, you know, it just gets everybody all riled up, and like, oh, you know, my favorite YouTuber loves this. And I'm just like, what the, you know. And now everyone believes that 230 people are still alive in a prison camp on Diego Garcia, or they're on the moon. I'm not sure. Maybe they went to go fight the 20 and back Mantis Force. I don't know.
Actually, sorry. His news story is that we killed the United States killed everyone on that plane, and he recently said that everyone on that plane deserved to die because they were protecting secrets or whatever, this warp drive technology. And honestly, I was shocked to hear that, and the people in his chat agreeing with him that all these people deserve to die because of a made up scenario. It's just wild to me.
What? Yeah, you can actually look up the people who flew on that plane. They were aunts and uncles, moms and daughters, and grandmothers and grandchildren. There may have been a couple of scientists on board. Go look at any fucking flight from anywhere, from like Chicago O'Hare or whatever, and there's going to be doctors and scientists, and, you know, if they were all lawyers, though, I'd be like, hell yeah, 230 lawyers gone. But, you know, they were regular people. Like, I've read and translated a bunch of it, where it's like, my aunt was on this flight. We miss her dearly, and she was just like, she worked at a restaurant, It's really sad. I didn't know that. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Even if you were protecting technology and you were for some reason flying from Malaysia with United States technology, I don't think you would deserve to die. I don't think anyone would deserve to die except for, like murderers and, kid diddlers and stuff like that, obviously. I don't think anyone doesn't agree with that. But that's a horrible, horrible statement. And, I guarantee you, like, that's the thing about it, like, this, like, when you get fanatics or whatever and you start leading an army of just true believers, like, they'll just eat it all up. Like, yeah, they deserved it, man. They're protecting warp technology, so they were warped themselves. Like, I don't know how that works. But that's pretty dark side of it. I wasn't aware of that. That makes me, quite honestly, very sad.
Yeah, it's disturbing, and especially when you couple that with saying the same kind of they use the same rhetoric to describe debunkers. So not only did these people, these 239 people, quote unquote, deserve to die to to protect these secrets, but people who are trying to put forth knowledge about this case are suddenly described as enemies of humanity, not real human beings. What else? Liars, scammers, all these things to kind of demonize people who are opposing this narrative that they built. And both of those together is dangerous. If you're already telling people that someone deserves to die to protect this government secret, and then you're conflating that with people who are, debunking them, what kind of message do you think that sends? That is something that terrifies me, honestly, especially when you consider how large this group is.
Yeah, it can be very dangerous. And a lot of things in conspiracy groups and ufology can be very dangerous, Like that, there's been, like, that dude killed his, like, dad and stuff like that because he thought he was a reptile, right? Like, his dad was probably just chilling, loved his son, and his son just, has been freaking out watching videos, probably have mental breakdowns, and just, murks his dad. And there's a bunch of other cases like that as well. It can get really crazy, like, hell, I've had some run-ins with some pretty crazy people on here myself that doxed me and all kinds of stuff. And it sucks. And that was back when I used to agree with everybody. But we don't do that no more, for damn sure. I just tell people to shut the fuck up these days. But, that's not always the best route to take, Cryshlee. I don't recommend that route. But, whenever it comes to that type of thing, like I said, like, people need to take a step back sometimes from things like that. Like, I can't think of anything without solid, real evidence, even remotely close, that I would back up like that, right? Like, that I would be like, these people deserve to die. That's horrible. And and there are people protecting national security, right? And everyone uses that, like, I always tell people the last thing you want to be doing when you're buying a Brooks iced tea at the gas station is your national security behind you and you made a water power car, right? Like, you're dead. But national security is national security, and it's secrets to protect people. And to say, like, they've been keeping cold fusion technology, or, I mean, let's just be honest here, 3 orbs that can teleport a fucking 747 or whatever that plane was is insane. Like, it's a big-ass plane, and it just warps it, using, whenever it warps, it uses the image from a video game. But, still, whenever it warps it, then they're like, they're hiding this teleportation. That's wild. And it gets to me, to be honest with you, kind of culty. Scientology, like I said earlier, Scientology comes to mind, because, like, if you go against Scientology, they will hunt you down. They will send every lawyer. They will send people to watch your house. And that's not fair. It's not cool. And, the reason why they do that, why Scientology does that, is because they know they're full of shit at the core. And they're using their fanatics to keep them in profit and in gain. So the thing about the truth, though, right, if what you're saying is so true, you should welcome with open arms every single skeptic, every single debunker. You should be calling them as much as you call these scientists that you want to talk to that are probably wackadoos, right? Like Stephen Canby would say. You should be calling the other scientists too. You should be like, hey, man, like, I want all of you here, and I want you to research this because this is what I believe. I have no fear. I have nothing but conviction for the truth. And if I'm proven wrong, then so fucking be it. That is when you know that's something to look at. That is when you have something you can actually rally behind. And unfortunately, and I'm going to probably get shit on by Ashton, but by this entire conversation, but I would tell all this to his face anyway. That, honestly, is not what I see in this community. right? Like telling people to die, and that's bullshit. You know, like if you really, and it never happens with conspiracy guys, right? It never fucking happens where they just bring it up and they're like, here it is, you know, Mick West, tell me what you got. And then Mick West is like, well, it's this, like, I fucking hate you, Mick West, how dare you? And like, you know what I mean? It's wilder and wilder.
Yeah, you don't see that's such a good point that you brought up, because it's not an unbiased investigation. Someone started this with like you said, a very strong conviction, not necessarily for the truth, but a belief, and then kind of selectively curated who he wanted to speak to about this. And it's not people who would give him an answer that is against his theory. And anyone who does gets ostracized by not just him, but his whole community. And that is something that it's a huge red flag. How can you say that you're a journalist or, you know, an investigator, top investigator, and then only listen to one side of the story, not actually go out and then to tell, even just to tell people, don't trust the experts. They're all government controlled, or, you know, stuff like that. Don't listen to mainstream scientists. They're all government controlled. And while there may be some meddling there, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's no shady practices going on. To exclude everyone who could possibly give you a separate answer from what you already think, what you believe happened, that I feel like that just shows that you're biased. It shows that you're biased and your whole investigation is biased.
And that's not good. It's not good. It's actually, we call it at work, mucho grande no bueno. It's no bueno, mi amigo. It is no bueno to be that biased about something. And it just goes to show, though, that if you don't agree, then fuck you, right? Like, that's not how we would be nowhere. Like, we wouldn't even know germs exist if that was the case. Because the dude that found germs, they laughed them, right? We wouldn't know the earth is fucking round, although some people think it's flat. We wouldn't know any of that stuff, you know, if there wasn't that other side of it. There should be both sides. And if you are, listen, I'll tell, because I know a lot of different people are listening, and they're going to listen to me play this back. There's nothing wrong with loving a story. There's nothing wrong with loving a set of videos. But there's everything wrong with putting all your chips in and not doing the groundwork yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust Cryshlee. Don't trust Ashton. Don't trust fucking Mick West. Trust a non-biased look at a topic, and trust the knowledge that you can gain from that. Look at both sides of the coin, right? And I mean, I've done that, and I think that they're false videos, right? And you've done that, you think they're false videos. And whenever people start making up excuses as to why they're real, look into that excuse. And it's probably, you know, some trust me bro nonsense, in my opinion. We don't have a lot of that in this community. That's what we lack. Is just people looking into something and looking past their love for it, you know, because I love a lot of stories that are total bullshit. They're great. They're fun to read. I love vampires, and they're not real. I wish they were, because I was immortal. But, you know, they're not. But I'll go to bed at night and listen to Vampire the Masquerade or something, like a story about, you know, a vampire from that lore, something like that, you know, Mythros or something like that. You know, there's nothing wrong with loving these things, but there's everything wrong on attacking people or fighting for a cause that could be total nonsense because you just want to believe so badly. That's just how, like, you know, Scientology or, well, any, I guess, type of religion really could end. That's how the Crusades happen, you know, things like that, in a lighter version of the way. So, yeah, there's just nothing wrong.
Sorry, I completely agree. But how do you reach people in that space, though? That's what I feel like that's the biggest hurdle here. How do you reach? It's like being in an abusive relationship, right? You can't really get out without angering the person that you love, and in this case, it's these videos. You can't really anger the person who has taken control. Sorry, you can't leave without angering that person. And then, you know, it's a very insulated community. They say there's room for everyone here, but they don't really mean that. They don't. No,
they're not. They're not even, you know, no, like they're not. That's not. It hasn't been true since like day 13. You know, and it really sucks. It really does. But I think what you have to do is what you're doing and what, you know, I'm doing and what other people do. Like I'm cool. Like I'm cool with Ashton, right? But I'm also cool with religions I don't, like people who are religious in ways that I don't believe in. I'm not going to go to the store. Well, let's just say it like this. Like I wouldn't have a best friend who's Muslim, right? And because he's my best friend and he told me about Islam, I'm all of a sudden in Islam, right? Or I'm Muslim now. That, you know, no, we can still have our differences and still be civil and still be cool. That's what makes a melting pot a melting pot. That's how we learn from each other, because there's truths in everything. Even in this, like maybe the government does have hidden technology. Maybe that's what we can learn from, not specifically those videos, but to keep an eye out for things like that may or may not happen. That's always been my take on it. You know, that's the best part about our world is our different cultures and our different beliefs. You know, I truly believe that. But, you know, in order to what to do is just to keep trudging forward, you know. As much as they love their stuff, like you said, you have to build another community that is just looking for a non-biased truth in the topic. And, you know, I think that's a wonderful thing. But how much longer do we have you for, Cryshlee? I know we've been going for about 30 minutes now.
I mean, I'm here. I don't have any, the show that I was supposed to be on later tonight was postponed until tomorrow. So I have time if you still want to discuss.
So 16 hours. We're going to go 16 more hours, guys. That's right. True Spaces fashion. We'll get Full Stack Logan up here and we'll go for 48 hours. But that's a joke. It's an Inside Spaces joke because Logan literally did a 48-hour space the other day. Wild. The dude's a mad lad. But I just want to say, like, when it comes to, like, honestly, like, because that's my biggest question, too. Like, what are you going to do? And you just have to keep putting 1 foot forward and 1 foot forward, and then people will hopefully start to come around. You're not going to get everybody, right? But, like, I hate the New Age movement. I cannot fucking stand it, Cryshlee. And that's a movement where, and I'll bring people up to speak in a second, but that's a movement where, like, people are telling people, like, hey, you know, like, a great cataclysm's coming, which it always is, or, you know, buy my books for this amount, buy my courses for $224 an hour. You can only ask 2 questions in that hour. But if you want to ask 6 questions, you can pay me $500 for 4 hours and you'll get 6 questions. And this is all like real shit. And they're talking about how they trained with Artemis and Thor and they learned how to wield lightning with Zeus and they're going to help you with financial well-being by having trained with the financial gods. It's wild. And a lot of people are sending these people their money because they're just gullible or they're broken and they're looking for answers or medical issues, right? Like they'll have major medical issues. I myself am a cancer survivor and I often think to myself, like, what the fuck would I have done if I had fallen into that? I would have given all my money to these people instead of a doctor and I'd be dead. I'd be fucking dead. So, you know, so I always put 1 foot in front of the other, and I get people that message me when they hear that every once in a while that say, hey, you know, my grandma was into it, and we talked to her about it thanks to you, and confronted her about it, and we've gotten her to stop doing that, and, you know, she's getting real help now, things like that. And that's the stuff that keeps you moving forward, and I hope that that's what you get from this as well. It's like showing people, like, hey, you know, there's other things out there that are real that we could be looking at. And that's why I think it's great that you're here now, because there are tons of videos. You can just look at Think Tank's page, another friend of mine who I disagree with all the time, and maybe he'll post a video one day that, you know, you'll say, holy shit, I'm the person who said the MH370 videos are fake. I still believe they are, but this one's confusing me. I need to do some more research. And then people will look at you and go, huh, you know, maybe this is a video that's cool, right? And that will help you on your path as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. It makes sense. And I was just thinking to myself, like, you're right, we're not going to reach everyone. Sometimes, you know, it feels like, you know, reaching 100,000 people is like feels like an insurmountable mountain and you can't, how do you even begin to make a dent there? But I do think that it's important, just even to reach 1 or 2 or even 5 or 10, but that momentum will grow just from them, being open enough to change their minds. I think that's another problem here. We're dealing with a lot of people who can't change their minds about something. And that kind of thing, you need to be willing to do it. No one can force you.
100%. And you need to have the resources to show you as well. And I think that's what you're doing. You could do what Ashton did though. You can go on shows. You could go on, sorry, I'm in the store. I just got off work before here. So we're kind of following on my day-to-day life here. But you could do what Ashton did and get on shows and do your amazing breakdowns there and things like that. And hopefully that's what you keep doing. And, I'm going to open up the floor now, Cryshlee, to people who want to come speak. If you want to come speak, put your request in and we'll bring you up here. We have one speaker now, UFO Intros, a good friend of mine, good friend of the show. Go ahead, UFO Intros.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, I don't know about everyone else, but your audio just got like 200% better.
Yeah, it was my car before. I'll leave it on my phone.
Wait, was that it? Was that the statement?
Yeah, was that it, Kimball? Great friend of the show here. He's the worst sometimes.
I'm open to answer.
If anyone wants to ask me a question,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's so hard to gauge when someone else is about to speak. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say I'm open to answering any questions that anyone has. If you have questions about the VFX,
I believe you. I've heard other people talk about this, but it was, I really liked the way you framed it, honestly. Like at the beginning when you guys were talking, you were just like, there's a lot of people who are pissed off about this and I blame them, but I don't know. I like the way you just stated it sort of matter of factly.
Yeah, I mean, we are adults here. We don't need to mince words. If we start like talking around the subject, that I feel like that's equally destructive.
Oh, I really agree with that. Let's go with non-credible.
Yo, hello. Longtime MH370 follower. Not as long, but pretty long time MH370. Come on, guys. Come on. We know this is a real, come on. But, I'm curious, right? Cause like I kind of come at it from like a very layman's point of view on the, like VFX side, right? Like to me, it was just like, this looks like military assets. Like it looks like something like more than just like a guy in his basement that I was able to sit on the fence for a while before like, you know, there was like a conclusive, like collective, you know, mounting insurmountable evidence about the VFX. But like, is there like, would you say there's like sort of like aspects of it that are like better than others? Like I know people didn't feel very like convinced by like Mick West like initially, right? Like I didn't, and I also had like an inherent like bias towards Mick West. And it took like other people with like seemingly like more grounded debunks, just like from my layman's perspective, to like get me to swallow the pill, so to speak.
So is your question like, is this video better than other hoax videos or other videos related?
No, just like are there like of the the points that are put forward to like point out that it's like VFX, are like some like more clear than others, right? Because like it just at first it wasn't clear to me, but then like the cloud one like really gets me, right? Like the cloud, like I really understand that one.
I think I understand what you're saying. Like the quality of it, there's kind of more believable aspects to it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because like with the Mick West one, right? Like with the VFX, like obviously there's been like some post effects done or like something, or so it just didn't seem like credible coming from Mick West, right? Like what's a good way to like create an environment where like skeptics can be taken seriously, like on their like debunks, right? Especially if there are like bad faith ones in the mix.
I'm still not 100% sure I understand your question, but I do want to say that there does seem to be a lot of beef in this community, and I think that contributes to people's credibility. People have people have an opinion about some people, and that colors their perception of whatever this person says. So if Mick West, for example, is hated by a large majority of the community, then even if he has truthful information, no one's going to listen to it. And I think that engaging in drama or, inappropriate topics while also trying to, I'm not accusing anyone of doing this. I'm just saying that is a problem that I'm noticing, with a lot of popular people in the community. They engage in drama, and that kind of harms if they're trying to also debunk things, which I hate that word. I just want to say I'm really growing to hate the word debunk.
I mean, skepticism's fine with me. You know what I mean? Or like trying to falsify or verify things, right? I mean, that's the thing too.
Yeah, I like the way Leslie Kane writes about the difference between debunking and skepticism. And I think there are debunkers. But...
Well, I'd like to say though, if you don't like the way that Mick West puts things, and I think, man, Cryshlee's always hitting on these good points. That's why I like her so much. There's a lot of bad blood, right? There is. And honest to God, an alien could show up in front of Mick West, and he would pull out some fishing string and some hooks and some Coke cans, and he'd be like, this is what you are. Let me explain to you why. And they're like, no, we are from the globular dimension. They're like, but you're actually a can of Coca-Cola with some fish strings and the sunlight shining through this double pane window, and that's what I'm seeing. I mean, that's just is what it is.
It's just a motivated reasoning. Like, it's not skepticism that's like genuine. What's the word? Good faith, I guess.
But but my point is if you don't like Mick West, based on your previous history here with the community, Cryshlee's not Mick West, and I guarantee she's not being paid by Mick West. Although I think he'd be a great boss, because I've talked to him several times. He's really nice. But
I like
she's literally giving you like an honest opinion, and she's a VFX artist, right? Like, she's worked on things. I mean, have you guys ever seen Avengers? Have you ever watched Harry Potter? Have you ever watched The Lord of the Rings?
Yes,
none of that shit's real, right? Like, none of that shit's real.
Yeah, because I think maybe this will like make more sense about like my issue with Mick West, right? Because like I remember,
we don't have to get into like your specific issues with Mick West.
Oh, not even like that. Just kind of like a pipeline of like how I was thinking about things, right? Like, it's just.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, like the videos came out. Like, I tried to engage Mick West about them on Twitter. I was like, hey, like, if these are what they like, you should look at these, because these seem like worthy of being falsified or like verified, right? And he was just like, obviously fake, right? And then I'm like, okay, but like, it doesn't seem obvious to me. And then like he only gave like one initial debunk, so to speak, that word. But
I messaged him about it. I was like, hey Mick, like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, what's up, mi amigo? What's up, bruh?
Yeah,
and I was like, hey dude, like, maybe you should like, do a deeper dive in this. He's like, no, it's not worth my time. And look at it now, like,
exactly
look at
right.
it now.
And like, it took, other people like having to kind of like fight an uphill battle to like get it out, like, because of that. And I'm just like, right.
And it is an uphill battle for sure. No, I totally agree. But, he does a lot of things, and he thought it was that, but they are to me, man, they look that stupid. I mean, I for lack of a better word, they just look obviously fake. But but like to you, they don't. And that's the great part about being different people with different opinions. But let's get my tongue, it's twisted. Let's get over here to Manny from Area 503. Great content creator, great researcher, great friend of the show. What's up, Manny?
Hey, Shane. Thanks for putting on this space. Cryshlee, I'm glad that you came on here, and I'm glad that you've kind of stepped up here and kind of taken the reins on kind of not debunking, but explaining the VFX elements of these videos. I think it's real important because a lot of the whole MH370 conspiracy hoax, as I call it, really is predicated on these videos being real. And when you kind of remove them from the equation, all of the other kind of arguments about Salvador Pai's science and wormholes and all this other stuff really become speculative kind of non-starters, and so I think it's real important just to go right to the head of the serpent kind of and cut it off here in this case. And kind of to speak to what Non-Credible was saying there, when these videos first came out, I kind of had a similar attitude of Mick West. I kind of looked at them and I was like, oh my God, these are garbage. These are so bad. These are so bad. I don't even want to waste my time on them. And I didn't for several months. And it wasn't until I was in a space with Voldemort, I'll call him because I don't want to name him, Voldemort. I was in a space with him and I told him that I thought that the videos were fake, and he just exploded on me and was like, rah, 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 rah. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to have to do some research on this to prove you wrong. And I did. I spent about 2 weeks of my time just digging into this top to bottom, going through all of his arguments and looking at them. And what I realized is that it's all bullshit from the top to the bottom. The videos are bullshit. All of his arguments are bullshit. It's all speculative leaps from A, B, C to D, all the way up to Z. And then you've got, the government killed a bunch of people, and there's some real dangers there. And I don't think I need to explain that to everyone what the dangers are. I mean, we're getting into kind of Sandy Hook territory with this stuff. And so maybe it'll kind of correct itself, where maybe the families of these victims are going to get a little outraged by what he's saying once they catch wind of it, and they'll deal with it. But going back to what Non-Credible said about the videos looking real and not being a VFX person, you really didn't have to be and don't have to be a VFX person to understand that these videos aren't real. As a layperson, what you can do is go out and look. Voldemort claims that the satellite video was taken from the SIBIRS, SIBIRS, space-based infrared systems network. And if you go out and look on the internet, you can find actual known footage from a SIBIRS system, and it looks nothing like the satellite video. Nothing like it at all. He also claims that the drone video was taken from a MQ-1C Reaper drone using false color with a signal intelligence pod. And when you go out and look at other known footage of false color, again, it looks nothing like that kind of video that the drone video looks like. And in fact, when you really dig, and this is something I found, the MQ-1C Reaper drone is a land-based drone operated by the Army. It's not even launched, hasn't even been able to be launched from a ship up until recently. So there's zero probability it could have made it out into the middle of the ocean. It just doesn't have the range or the capabilities to intercept an airplane and to take that type of video. And then it didn't even have a signal intelligence pod until the year after MH370 disappeared. So there's so many red flags along the way. And, this guy Voldemort will say, oh, I debunked him. And just like Cryshlee said earlier, he doesn't offer, he'll come up with the most pathetic argument to disprove it, and then just cling to it as if it's reality. Oh, well, that raw data could be faked, so it is fake. Every one of his arguments is could be, and then he lets the audience infer that it is because it could be, but it's just, it's downright ridiculous. And, it's like, it should have been put to bed, and it was. When you really dig into this and you look, back in 2014, from 2008 to 2014, all of the arguments that this guy has made were put out there on Reddit and 4chan, Twitter, on YouTube. They were out there, and they were all soundly and thoroughly debunked and thrashed and dismissed. And it wasn't up until last year, and I blame Netflix for this, but that goddamn MH370 special that they did last year revamped public interest in this, but they didn't do enough to quash kind of the conspiracy theories. They left it way too open for interpretation, and that's what sparked this whole thing again. Then you got Clown Shoes Voldemort grabbing some videos that have been around and debunked forever and just making a name to them and attaching himself to them. And now he's so ingrained with them, he can't, even if he does admit that they're false, again, for the third or fourth time now, nobody's going to believe him because he's already done that a bunch of times, and he'll just walk it back later when it doesn't suit his needs. So, I'm glad that we're getting it out there, but it really sucks that people have to waste their time on this, because it is a huge, huge waste of time. Did something happen to MH370 and we don't know what it was? Absolutely. We don't know why that plane crashed, but there's no refuting the fact that it did crash. It crashed into the ocean. They pulled wreckage out. It was a tragedy. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of families were impacted negatively. And it's sad that somebody's out there capitalizing on that misery. And that's how I felt about it from day one. I don't even like talking about it because I feel like it's disrespectful to those families and those people who lost their lives. But we kind of have to when somebody like this is just going to keep fanning the flames and keep it going and going and going and just never relent, because it's a part of his identity now, you know? So yeah, keep up the good fight, Cryshlee. And I'm glad that you're doing the VFX work. I never wanted to because I felt like it was just a huge waste of time. I felt like if it wasn't pixel perfect, these people were going to fight it. And sure enough, you've got the butthole defense where if it's not pixel perfect, it's not my butthole. You know, like that's the level of stupid that this has gone to. And it's just, I don't have the time for it. I don't. I've got other things I'm working on. But that's where we're at. Thanks for letting me talk.
Yeah, no problem, Manny. I also like to add to that, one of my favorite things I've ever heard about MH370 is this 2014 technology it would take months. And that's like, bro, like what, 2000, is that like a new, like 2014 technology? Like, dude, that's right. 2014, we were just banging sticks together and lighting fires with, rocks. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now if it was like 1980s technology or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, I guess. 1995 compact Rosario technology. Yeah, okay. But 2014, you had 1080 Ti's. Like, you were running, like Crisis and maximum settings. I mean, and that was like in 2009. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But I mean, I love computers and things like that. I mean, I have a degree in computer science. But, it's just, some stuff is just baffling. Like 2014 technology, man. Like, yeah, we didn't have Iron Man suits then, but we don't have them now. But we can teleport planes to Diego Garcia. I don't know. It's wild. And then when it comes to the families and stuff, like, I don't think Ashton's gripping on this. I think he's building up a following on it. And I don't know if Ashton really believes it or not. I always tell him, like, he's at least genuine in his thoughts on it. But he does get a little wild there. And he's gotten wild before in the past, and we've all been like, hey man, calm the fuck down. And telling people he's gonna sue them with the families. Well, you'd have to go to court. And you'd have to prove in a court of law that teleportation technology exists. And that's not going to happen because it fucking doesn't. And then when you start threatening to sue people, like I said earlier, it just goes back to like Scientology type stuff. And, I meant to message Ashton about it, but I actually invited him on the show instead. I was just going to tell him in the space. You need to calm the fuck down, brother. Like, I mean, honestly, I know you're going to hear this. Just calm down. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, don't be threatening to sue people. And once again, if what you're saying is so true, then you should be welcoming everybody, Like, if you build a badass fucking car, like Ferrari did instead of a tractor, or Lamborghini or whatever. I think it's Lamborghini because they're not a Ferrari. They brought that car up there. Everyone's like, hey, look at this badass fucking thing I built in my garage. Everyone's like, holy shit. And I got to tell me what's wrong with it so I can improve. Tell me both sides here. I'm so proud of this. He wasn't like, if you fucking don't like the way that mirror's angled, I will sue you. I will get the families of the architects and we will sue you. That didn't happen. So yet it's a very dangerous slope. And I know that some people in here, like Tupa and all them are really good friends with Ashton. I am too, man. I mean, I can be friends with you. And like yesterday, someone was like, you're friends with them, but you're shitting on them. I can be friends with you and not agree with the fuck you say. I'm friends with my aunt and uncle, and they think that everything is angels and demons, and like fucking, everything in your life is the devil. It just is what it is. But I still love them to death, and I still fight with them every Christmas. It's fine. You can have a healthy argument. But yeah, 2014 technology, man, those are wild times back then, man. I remember I didn't even have a phone. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I did. Shit. I remember I didn't even have, I had that too. I don't know. A lot of things we still have, shit. But anyways, let's see here. If anybody else wants to come up and request to speak, you can. It's a pretty great space. But Cryshlee, you just got to keep going forward. Keep doing shows. Keep just talking about like the facts of the videos. Now I remember what I was gonna say. There, Cryshlee, if you look in the purple pill down there, Ryder Browning, who I'm supposing is a MH370 fan, which is fine, posted some images. Can you go over those and as to why those are either for or against MH370? Because I'm honestly driving and I don't want to die, so I can't look into it too much.
I'm gonna need you to tell me again where to find them.
Yeah, there's a purple button down in the corner. It has 8 comments, and it'll be the ones from Ryder Browning.
Okay, got you. What am I looking at again?
Can you go over those? Like, I'll put them up at the top. I'm trying not to die while I do it, because once again, I am driving. If I do die,
I just put them in the top for you, Shane.
Yeah, thank God. I'll put the first one up there. But yeah, because I'm literally going 85 miles an hour down the freeway right now.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I see a couple of them.
I'm living life on the edge, Cryshlee. Don't feel bad for me. All right, I'm flying, dude. I'm about to get teleported to Diego Garcia. And by teleported DOC, I mean I hit wrap around a tree. But all right, here we go.
Okay, I see, one. I'm gonna pick which one I want to talk about first. There is, and this is actually a topic I did want to talk about, but, the silhouette of the plane, for example. And I think I talked about this somewhere else. I can't really remember where, but the silhouette matches so well to the image, the first image of MH370 that pops up when you search on Google. I think it's on Wikipedia, actually. It fits so well that I have trouble believing that this is even in the drone video, if that's even a 3D model for that particular part. Cause there's a moment in the FLIR footage where the plane goes off screen, and when it comes back on screen, it's much bigger, it's much more detailed. And I personally, as a video editor, I would have used that as a cut, like a sneaky little cut where I swap out the, the distance model version of this and put in this PNG with the special colors or whatever. And I think it's highly possible that could have been what happened. I don't want to say for sure, but it's still weird that it fits it so well. And you can't just be like, oh, well, that's obviously the model of the plane, so of course it fits. But the perspective, the angle of the photo, like that's a little bit, it's a bit odd. Like statistically, it might, it's very low chance of that happening so well. Let's put it like that. Let's see what the zippers and the false color IR. Let's see. Cause I can't talk too much about the satellite, stuff. I know that there's a discrepancy between, and it keeps changing too. The story keeps changing of which satellite exactly were the ones that actually saw this happen. But, so I've seen things about the false color IR. I've heard things about this too as well. And so I did some research on my own, which is something that everybody should do. Just to remind everyone, please don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. But the satellite footage is supposedly false color IR, right? And what that means is that it's infrared, but it's the colors are not standard infrared colors like white hot or black hot like we would typically see with military footage, right? Or satellite footage or whatever footage that they're trying to assert is being seen here. And the reason that it looks like this is because it's from a photo. We've seen the actual photos. We've seen the actual clouds with the details of the sun hitting it. There's directional light in this image that should not, if it's infrared, we should not see light, period, right? Or at least in the way that we're seeing it here, in the way that the photos have the light. And that honestly, that should be it's so wild to me. I can't, it boggles my mind when I hear these excuses for, trying to hand wave the actual original clouds. Like it's clearly daylight in this photo. It's not infrared. It doesn't look like any infrared that we've ever seen. Why are we still putting this forward as infrared footage? Like it makes no sense. I don't want to be too.
Well, Cryshlee, if they have teleportation technology, then maybe they have a new type of IR that we haven't even discovered yet, and that's what was using the picture to be taken. Debunked again. The rebunk has been rebunked.
Sorry, there's a plane going by, ironically, but sorry if you heard that. But
that was chicken, actually.
I don't know, man. It's so interesting to see the mental gymnastics at work. And everything that you say, it becomes, well, they could have done this, well, they could have done that, well, they could have done anything then, honestly. And if we had this technology, I heard someone say the other day, if we had warp technology, why didn't we use it to get Bin Laden? Why are we sitting here playing games when we have warp drive technology? Think logically, does it make sense? Personally, it doesn't make sense. I hope that I addressed most of these images. Is there more that you guys want me to look at?
I think that about covers it. And that's a good point as well. Like, if we do have this amazing teleportation technology, why did they only use it on a plane back then? And there's been no other sightings or examples that have been shown at all publicly, period? Like, are you kidding? Are you fucking shitting me? Like, it blew my mind to even think that would be possible. Like all these videos, the IR, the satellite, the plane flying, the orbs, it's all there, but they've never used it again. Because that's what we know about our military. They only use things one time and then they just throw it out. They're like, all right, we did it, guys. We kidnapped a bunch of innocent people from Indonesia or whatever. And, well, we did it, boys. Let's pack it up, shoot everybody in the head and move on. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. But Manny, you had your hand up for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm glad that, I don't know who posted those images, but those are great examples of what Sibbers actually looks like. And, again, false color, there's not a lot of Sibbers information out there because it's still a classified classified system, I believe. But there is a lot of false color information out there. And when you really dive into this, you find out that the videos really don't look anything like any form of known footage that we have. And so, yes, I guess the argument could be made that, oh, it's some kind of top secret, this, that, or the other. But again, like I said earlier, they're just hinging their whole argument and case on what could be, not what is. So until there's more evidence that there's any form of footage that looks like that, you just kind of got to go on what is. You can't speculate. And that's the lack of scientific approach here. And so rational people are going to look at that and be like, well, yeah, it's clearly not, those aren't real videos, but, the conspiracy theorists are going to be like, well, of course the government's got warp tech and space-based lasers that can see through clouds and da-da-da-da-da. It's just like, come on, man. Like, let's just work. We got enough to worry about on our plate with what is. Let's not start getting into the fantastical. Or, we could just say it's fucking flying unicorns, because every argument that could be a flying unicorn too, because there's just as much evidence of flying unicorns as there are of, portal creating, orbs out there. When you put it in a context like that, it becomes kind of silly, and you're just like, what are we even doing here? It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, but people believe it.
We're at a point where somebody can just read a list of 20 plus things that are just wrong in these videos and not actual, and Ashton literally just emotionally seems to just shut up. I don't know. Hopefully that means we've gotten someplace, which is kind of like
non-credible. Also driving in his car. I've started a new trend where we all talk about deep, intersecting subjects while speeding down the freeway. I want everyone to know that I started this trend, and if you use it, I will sue you. I will get the victims of the families, and we will sue you into the goddamn ground. All right, this is my idea, and I get 74% of all sales. Anyways, yeah, Cryshlee, did you ask for a list of reasons? And we'll go to UFO Mean Girls after that.
I didn't ask for a list. I'm sorry. I just heard somebody read a list.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you at all. Whoever's speaking, we can't hear you.
That's because he's living his life speeding down the freeway, trying to get to Diego Garcia. And once again, I started this. We're going to go to UFO Mean Girls, and then we'll go from there, and hopefully I'll be home in the next 20 minutes so I can sit back and enjoy this. Loving the space, by the way. If you like the space, if you don't like the space, if you like me, if you don't like me, which most people don't, you can retweet and like the space. We can get more people in here, ask more great questions. We have 2 likes and 0 retweets, and God, 60,000 people in here. We're getting ratioed to hell right now. I'm trying to win this war. Like and retweet the room, people. What are you doing? Or, Cryshlee, was our conversation so great? Everyone was so focused that they forgot that it took 2 clicks of their finger to retweet and like the room. I'm not sure. I don't know. But let's go to UFO Mean Girls. Like and retweet the room.
Hey, sorry, I'm going to have to drop down after this because I'm a little busy. But I don't think it's a war. I think it's, people are finally presenting evidence on the other side that you can, I guess, say they're very hard data points. And I missed some of the conversation. I was just wondering, did you guys address the Edward C. Lynn unredacted file?
Oh.
That goes back to 2012, which would be 2 years before the videos. And I was just wondering if that's something that you guys have looked at or if you can shed more light on. Thank you.
That was awesome, dude. Go ahead, Cryshlee.
Yeah, so we actually have, well, not me personally, but one of us did look into this and presented some information on this. It's so funny because when we posted when whoever posted the charges sheet, it clearly states the dates. And you can look up the information for the case if you want to. The dates don't line up with the case. If this was if the charges go back to 2012, then how is this the same case? And I think that is something that has, and because they didn't see the unredacted charge sheet. I don't know, but you would think that someone doing unbiased research into this case would look for that, right? You would think that they would do their due diligence here and see what the charges were actually for, and actually, not just select parts of the case that seem like they apply to this one and ascribe it to these hoax videos. But yeah, we have definitely looked at it. I haven't made a video on it yet, but I could in the future.
And a follow-up question: do you offhand, have you found any compositing errors in, I guess in the FLIR footage, right? I feel like there's a compositing error there, but have you found like clear-cut mistakes or just kind of things that kind of like, just slip by? And because if you're a video editor, like I guess it's you can't always catch everything. So just wondering if any of that was there.
Can you repeat the last part of your question? I'm sorry.
No, just basically, did you find any compositing errors or any sort of like looks like some frames are duplicated, or that the mask was still there, but slightly kind of like you had to like really look to see it. You bump up the contrast, you see the mask around the plane. Like any sort of stuff like that are telltale signs of VFX.
Yes, so I'm glad that you brought this up. Tomorrow I'll be on a podcast podcast where we'll look at this a little bit more closely. But there are discrepancies with both. And I think it's really interesting that one of the claims that is being put forth is that the videos are in perfect sync. And if you actually play the videos side by side and you look at the position of the orb, they don't match. There's a moment in the satellite footage where the orb, I think it comes in, I can't tell you the specifics, I'm not looking at them right now, but it comes in from the opposite direction that it comes in in the FLIR. Like if you're expecting to look, because you're considering this perspective of both, like one is from technically behind the plane and one is from above, you would think that the trajectories of the orb should still line up. And if, like, even if you try to simulate it, it doesn't add up. I might do a video on that, actually simulating the movement just in 3D space so people can actually see what's happening. But there's that. There's also a frame where the plane moves and the orb stays still. I think you can see that I think that frame is in the satellite footage. There's a moment where the orbs, two of the orbs, I believe, in the plane are still moving, and then there's an orb like slightly below it that's like stuck for a frame. There's that. And then in the FLIR footage, not just me, but other people have seen that or found that, there's two frames, I believe it's like either 49 or 47 frames apart, where if you compare them, you can even do a difference image. If you compare them, the noise values are exactly the same. And this has been touched on before by the other camp, and I think they kind of just hand waved it a little bit, but that should not happen in real video. There's like a noise overlay over the top of everything, but even still within the image itself, that would only happen if there was a duplicate, like someone, I don't know, I'm not sure how to explain it in terms that people who don't do video editing would understand, but suffice it to say that if you took two identical frames of a video, and even if, they were taken at different times, there would be small differences. It would never be exactly the same. That does not happen in nature. So for this to happen in the video, that's a really, really huge glaring sign that it's VFX. There are other things, but those probably are the most glaring ones that I do plan to do videos on soon.
Cool. Thank you. Well, I await this new season of the MH370 saga. Thank you.
Brought to you by History Channel. Just allow that on there. Like, this makes too much sense. The aliens live in the oceans. Yeah, we can't here. But yeah, that is a great question. Grider Browning, you're posting a lot of stuff in the nest and the thing down there, dude. I don't know. There's no context. I don't know what the fuck that is, man. I'm not sure. Sandy down there, she has a comment. She says, there is so much that the MIC has that we have never been privy to. Scalar technology is real. Don't be on the wrong side of history here. What is your comment on that, Cryshlee?
We used to be in a space where we could share our opinions, and regardless of whether or not they were different, we were still friends. However, it seems as though my stance on this topic has created a divide there, and I've seen some very horrible and mean things being said personally about me. I'm sorry, it's a little bit off topic, but by you, Sandy. And I think that is incredibly, it's saddening. This is just it's something that we disagree on, which is fine. You can have a different opinion. I have a different opinion, but the fact that just because I'm going against something that you believe strongly about, now all of a sudden it's okay to violate that friendship. Let's put it that way. I don't even remember the initial question. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, don't be on the wrong side of history. Well, again, that's an opinion. If we are contesting whether or not these videos, I guess, hold the secret to life-changing, history-changing technology, I suppose it's a if it were true, even if it were true, why would you consider other people who don't believe like that? That is my question.
Damn. Yeah, I like that as well. I also like to say that teleportation technology to Diego Garcia does not exist. It has not existed, and the videos are fake. I'll do Cryshlee one better than what she said. Because I don't give a shit. So they're not real. Planes were not teleported to Diego Garcia. 230 people did not deserve to die because they hid scalar technology or whatever it was. They're not real. I want to make this very, very clear. I don't know about Cryshlee. I can't speak for her, but I want this stuff to be real. My God. I've seen crazy things that make no sense, and I want validation, but I will not give that validation away to something that is fake, because that's not what validation is. That is just you wanting something to be real, right? I used to, man, and I won't do it anymore. And all it takes for me or Cryshlee and she's not even a debunker, or just say me or Manny. I know me and Manny are kind of on the same page. I really can't speak for Cryshlee, but all it takes, man, and hopefully it happens, is for me to be dog shit wrong one time with solid evidence, solid facts, and solid proof, and I will be the first motherfucker at the top of the mountain going, I was wrong, it's all real. Like, I will be there like, it's finally happening, dude. Like, cause I know the phenomenon exists. I know it's there. I've fucking seen it. But that doesn't mean I have to believe in madness, right? That's what borderlines believe, faith, and truth, right? So let's get up to Manny. Go ahead.
Yeah, just kind of in response to what Sandy posted about, secret technology and stuff. I mean, the same arguments could be made for scalar technology. It could also be applied to, say, the X-Wing versus TIE fighter battle scenes in Star Wars. All the technology is sound. We have laser technology, we have AI robotic technology, we have spaceships, and you could apply all those same arguments to the X-Wing and TIE fighter scenes in Star Wars, but that doesn't mean that Star Wars is real. Doesn't mean that the footage that was shot there is real. Just like it doesn't mean, even if scalar technology exists, it doesn't mean that the MH370 videos are real or that that's what we saw there. And again, it's another one of those could be arguments that this conspiracy hoax hinges on, is that just because something could be true, well, then we're going to assume that it is. Even though it's the Occam's razor says you really shouldn't do that. You should use the path that requires the least assumptions. And so the least assumptions are that this stuff isn't real, other than hinging your whole arguments on a whole bunch of different points that could be real. And now all of a sudden you've got something that is real because you've made such a mountain of speculative or circumstantial evidence. And so you're like, okay, now it's real because look, there's this mountain of evidence that it could be, from E. Edward Lynn to scalar technology to, lithium ion batteries, so you just got to kind of be careful going down that path. Otherwise you're going to end up believing in unicorns and Santa Claus, which I don't mind believing in Santa Claus. I like Santa Claus, but let's keep it based in facts here.
Dude, unicorns are real, bro. My uncle saw one time. It may have been a very large horse, but he said it shined majestically in the moonlight. I was like, that was a unicorn, bro. And he was like, yep, trust me, bro. He never once lied to me except for all those other times he did. But, that one time he was telling the truth. Sure. I am loving this though, because I opened up the comments, I guess, by reading them, and we're gonna read some more.
Wait,
Are you ready,
sorry,
Cryshlee?
before you, I didn't want to interrupt you, but Grider says he's been trying to come on, but he hasn't. He's having trouble.
I haven't.
Just letting you know.
I haven't gotten a single request that I would love for him to come on, but I'm not. You have to hit the request button, bro. Like, I can't bring you up with super psychic telepathic powers. I wish this was like the X-Men. I'd bring you all up here right now against your will, because I'd have X-Men powers. I'd be a god. Hopefully I wouldn't get shit powers like that. I'd get like Magneto's powers, or like, mega level mutant, like Cyclops' brother, but I wouldn't go crazy. Anyway, sorry, big nerd. But Grider, we're trying to get you on, man. I swear to God, I haven't seen a single request. Cryshlee, if you see him, pop him on. But you have to hit the request button. Otherwise it's out of my hand.
I can't see him either.
But we are going to. Well, yeah, all right. We are going to read. This comes from AJ Media. Never talked to them, don't know who they are, but big fan of the show. I can tell that they're huge fans of the show. They're loving this. And they say, and this is a two-part, the so-called VFX experts have failed to explain or replicate the evidence of the case. Try to have a real VFX expert recreate the video evidence, and then, Cryshlee, we can talk about it. Only whenever it's recreated completely in its whole, pixel by pixel, ounce by ounce, with 2014 technology, ancient technology. You're probably gonna have to go to a museum to get the technology, Cryshlee, and it's just gonna have to travel back in time. I don't even know, because that shit's gone. You can't buy it on eBay or wholesale at all. But what do you think about that?
I think I'm real tired of people telling me that I'm not a real artist. Like, bro, I'm showing you these in-depth techniques in After Effects. How do you still have questions about this? I've shown you my filmer. I've shown you the things and I had somebody, I think I had, someone was like, you're not a real VFX artist. VFX artists put VFX onto real videos, and you don't do that. You mostly do animation. What does that have to do with, first of all, there are so many different, I'm sorry, I do get excited about this because this is my job, but there are so many different roles within VFX. It's not just compositing. That is a main part of it, yes, but there's also motion capture, which I worked in. There's also, the actual generation of these assets that are put in the real footage. There's so many, having a statement like that, I feel is very ignorant of the practice in general. And I feel like these people who are saying, oh, we need a real VFX artist to chime in. If you don't have experience in this field, I don't think that you are qualified to throw stones like that. First of all, you can have a subjective opinion on whether or not my work is good to you. That's fine. And I think that everyone is entitled to that opinion. But if I'm showing you these techniques, I'm showing you exactly how the artist got it done. To say that you're not a real VFX, it's just an insult. It's not an actual argument. That's what I say to that. that.
Well, hell yeah. Now get excited, man, because like you are a real VFX expert. I did bring a real VFX expert on here. I wouldn't just bring someone on here who's like, I did some stuff at a high school one time, like back when I was 14. In fact, I made Big Chungus and Ugandan Knuckles for VR. That's what I did. You know, I'm big time VFX. No, I brought an actual person up here who has actual videos you could actually watch. But you probably don't. You probably just consume one side of this and don't even, and anything that you don't agree with, you just say, this person isn't real. They're hired by the CIA, the NSA, and the Brazilian Defense Force to do this. I don't know why Brazil's involved, but they are.
Yeah, so which is it though?
Brazil
Like, am I
is
an agent hired by the CIA with VFX skills to confuse the community, or which is the argument that you're trying to make? That's my confusion.
How many people have you killed for the government using your VFX abilities? Thousands. Hundreds of thousands, or just 239. Tell me.
I haven't killed a single person. I don't even kill bugs because I feel like it's gross. So I don't know. I don't get the accusations. Again, they're accusations with no evidence. So come with better arguments, please.
Yes, dude. Show up with better evidence for the love of God. You know, like Jesus Christ. Don't let people shit on you for your job and what you take passion in. If you think that she's not real, then, you know, she just passionately told you, like, this is what I fucking do. All right. I've shown you this is what I do. There are different components. There are different doctors. There's doctors for your toes. There's doctors for your ears. Doctors for your liver. They're all doctors, except for chiropractors. They are phonies. It actually all started with a dude who believed in crystal balls and was killed by his son using a float in a parade. Look it up. It's real. Chiropractors are fake. But let's go with UFO Mean Girls.
Hey, yeah, no, I think that brings up a good point. If you would want to address it, Cryshlee, like, because I don't know, like, what's the what's been the temperature in the VFX community? Like, how have they react to this? Have they at all? Are people split? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the general consensus in that field by those people?
So, I think that when this was discussed, there were a couple of VFX artists who chimed in and was like, yeah, no, this is fake. Those people, of course, were dismissed. There were some who were like selectively, chosen as spokespeople. Those people who have, I guess, argued in favor of, it would have taken 6 months and a team and a multi-million-dollar enterprise to create. Those people have since either deleted their comments or we can't actually find them to get their actual opinion. A lot of it is hearsay. A lot of it is, people saying that they are VFX artists but not actually showing anything. And I feel like at this point, I'm not just saying it, I'm proving it. I'm showing you what I know. I'm showing you my skills. It's not like I'm just, I'm not hiding, you know, behind a keyboard like, yeah, I'm a VFX artist and I think they're fake. So you should believe that they're fake. I'm doing the work here.
Cryshlee, are you telling me that, hold on a second. I'm about to disagree with you here. Are you telling me that if someone goes on Reddit and say they work for Marvel in VFX, they could be lying? Is that what you're saying? Oh my God, this is my entire world is crumbling down and they don't give any credentials? Who needs those? They don't have videos showing their work? Don't need that, but they said they work for Marvel on Reddit, Cryshlee.
And I don't know. I don't think I really want to get, I want more VFX artists to chime in. I kind of weighed whether or not I should post this video to common VFX groups, like maybe the VFX subreddit or the After Effects subreddit, for example. But I honestly feel like they would laugh it out and, it might get removed for being against the rules or something. But I think that it's just something that we need to maybe seriously consider in the future. I feel like a lot of people are looking at this like, this is a dumpster fire. I don't want to get involved. But I feel like maybe we should just seek out people who would get involved and risk, like I am, our brand and our career. And because, there's some seriously unhinged people here who, kind of wish bad on me specifically for doing this. But, if we can get some brave people to chime in, that would be great. I feel like that's probably one of the next steps.
I agree. And I also think that it's really not fair, right? Like you should be able to post if it's so real, it's so true. And I hate to say this for the third time, but I feel like I have to. If it's so real and it's so true, then you should be welcoming with open arms debunkers and skeptics. Because if you prove those people wrong, not with some bullshit, not with some trust me bro, talking about people who have no credentials, like, and then saying, we did it guys, we dropped the microphone on this, and then just walking away and you're sitting there like, as the person they burned, like, I don't even know what just happened right now, but I'm not affected by this at all because it's a bunch of bullshit. It's wild to me. It's wild.
But it could work the opposite way, right? Like if we get a bunch of VFX artists to basically like look at this and, maybe there's a group consensus one way or another. Who knows? Maybe down the road that interests some people, right? And there's a UFO video out there that they find to be like completely genuine and there's no way to debunk it because they're VFX artists and they looked into it and they're like, yeah, no, we can't tear this apart at all. So I'm just saying it's a double-edged sword, but I feel like like it would be beneficial to the community as a whole if VFX artists did get involved, because we do have a lot of stuff out there that, kind of has a question mark. And who knows, one of them might end up being real because these people looked at it and they're like, yo, I have no idea how this was done. So I don't know, just throwing that out there. I'm going to step down.
It was done with 2009 technology. Lost technology of all time. No, but I totally agree. I totally agree. And there are videos that I love, like the Brazilian one where the dude's like making carpentry in his backyard and like it flips sideways and shoots off in the sky. What the fuck was that? There are a bunch of really cool videos. And I think that if you have people in this community that are actual VFX experts like Cryshlee that you can approach and talk to like you are now, because this whole floor is open. Anybody who's making comments or doing whatever is more than welcome to come up here as long as you're civil. If you're not, you can go kick rocks into a well and you can fall into the well behind the rocks. I don't really care.
Wait, I also, before you go to the next speaker, I also wanted to, I guess, maybe fully address the comment that you read, about failing to explain or replicate. I think you maybe should really remember that it's not that there are two sides, but if we consider the videos to be fake, right, there's no need to explain evidence that you have found on your side. First of all, we've already established that your investigation has been biased. Like, there's not really any other way to describe it. If you don't go to sources that are unbiased, your investigation is by default unbiased, is by bias, right? To request for me to explain evidence that you have put forward makes zero sense, first of all. Second of all this week I've been doing nothing but explaining the videos. So what, I'm confused as to what this comment is actually saying. It feels like it's just being mean to be mean. That's it.
Yeah, Cryshlee, there's an argument technique, and I forget what it's called now, but it's where people just endlessly ask for more evidence and more evidence once it's been supplied. And that's kind of what you're seeing there, is that no matter how much evidence you supply to these people that these videos are fake, they're never going to believe it. And that's one of the many parallels that we're seeing with this MH370 conspiracy hoax that we also see in ufology with the, current quote unquote disclosure movement and trying to convince people that there's something more of an agenda there. They're just, people are going to believe what they want to believe, and it doesn't matter how much evidence you put in front of them, they're still going to demand more. So I think at some point you just gotta write off people like that and say, look, we're never going to reach those people, but that's okay. We're not trying to reach that small little 0.05% of the population that's going to cling to their beliefs no matter what evidence is put in front of them. At this point, we're trying to reach people that are rational thinkers that will look at evidence, and that's it, and put your best foot forward, which you've been doing. In my opinion, as someone who's worked with VFX for close to 10 years now, you've done an amazing job. You've done an amazing job doing that. I'm not sure what any sort of VFX professional could add to the conversation, and there's two kind of pitfalls for them to become engaged in this. The first is that high-end VFX people are in huge demand, and they make a ton of money doing what they do, and they generally have work booked out for months and months and months on end, because it's such a fine crafted skill set. The other thing is that so that means they don't really have time to be getting involved in something like this. The other point is the toxic resistance that you're receiving. I've already seen a couple of times where, Jonas, who took the cloud videos, has nothing to do with this community whatsoever. But he got so much hate and shame because Voldemort decided to weaponize his followers to attack this person to try to silence him. So that's another thing. There's two real big points as to why mainstream VFX people probably wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole. It's because it's such a shit show, because of the toxic response that they're going to get if they say something that people don't want to hear. And going back to like the Marvel guy, and supposedly there was two VFX experts that had testified that, you couldn't do that in 2014, and it would take a team of guys weeks to do that. I'm not even a professional VFX guy, and I know that's horse shit. My old computer that I had before I just upgraded it was 10-year-old parts. It was parts from that era, and I, was able to animate and do everything that needed to be done, more so for this last film that I worked on, where, I had one render that took like almost 6 days to complete, but it got done, and it was like a 4-minute segment, but yeah, it got done. It's totally implausible to say that you couldn't have done this with technology back in that time, or that it would have taken that time to do it. It would have only taken a couple of hours maybe to do it, especially if you didn't care that you weren't looking like any sort of real IR footage or real Sibbers footage or anything like that. If you were just slapping something together, you could do it, especially if you had access to stock images like clouds and you didn't have to generate them to make them look unique and make them 3D, because you didn't have to. They were obviously 2D assets. They were obviously implemented in two different frames, two different videos, but, it would have been really simple. And so no credible person would have done that. And yeah, I think that was just somebody on Reddit maybe trolling or somebody trying to flex or something. But it's funny how when those claims were made and those people were trying to be tracked down to verify those claims, they're nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found, you know. So let's just stick with, again, what we have and what we know and move on from there.
Yeah, 100,000% agree with what you said. But I know that people have looked up this person. I think one of the people that they reference a lot is Jeffrey Ford. Again, this person has nowhere for comment. They literally said they don't want to be a part of this. I believe that they said that I could be wrong here, but I believe that they say they don't want to be contacted about this, which is why people say don't contact them. And these comments have since been deleted. The other thing though is that, the other person, this was hearsay. This was someone on a podcast saying, I think they said 6 months or something. That is the source that I've been given when I asked about this source. And that is, to me, that is just wild. And this is two. And then at the time this is happening, you had multiple other ones who were saying, no, this is not, you can do this so quickly. Why do you believe the two that are flaky and not the million that are saying, no, this is clearly able to be done quickly? And then even if you don't want to believe that, even if you want to say, well, they seemed legit, you know, I need better evidence than that. If I'm showing you how to match the, and I'm doing it in less than 3 minutes, if we can make this zap in less than 3 minutes, why do you think that the entire video would take 6 months? Why would you think, why would, considering how quickly we're able to do this, considering how quickly someone else was able to replicate this, and that's I'm getting a little sidetracked, but that's the other thing. There have been recreations. I just want to put this out there. There have been recreations, and every single time there's a recreation, there's criticism. It's either it's too close, they copied it, or it's not close enough, it has to be a perfect match. You cannot win there. So I really feel like we should just drop that whole line of requirements. They need to be able to recreate the videos to show how long it takes. I feel like we've put that to bed already.
Yeah, and you've mentioned a couple of times before, Cryshlee, about how the original video was uploaded in 2014. It was compressed through YouTube's algorithms at the time, you know, and that how when you're working with high quality assets, it's never going to look the same as something that was downscaled, you know, compressed, run through a bunch of filters, you know, uploaded, downloaded. You're never going to get that pixel for pixel match. But you've done a really good job of demonstrating the VFX parts. And I know that other people out there, as you've said multiple times, have done work too, where they've placed the clouds together to show how the different cloud assets make the whole background. And then you've shown how you could add volumetric lighting to it. Things like that, you know, like you've done a really good job explaining that. So just keep on with that fight and keep doing it and, showing people what's out there. And hopefully we can put this to rest soon.
How's my mic sound? Does it sound good? Hello? Is my microphone good, guys? All right. We're good back here. I can actually talk in my regional voice now. I'm from Australia. No, I'm just kidding. I put in my new headset just so I'll have a little bit of fun. You know, I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun here, guys. No. Yeah, there have been recreations. And the argument's like, oh, they're not pixel to pixel, man. They're not exact, dude. No shit. No shit. If you were to recreate Avatar, pixel by pixel, it would never happen. If you were to recreate any movie shot for shot, it would not be the same. Period. It just wouldn't. It's not possible.
It's interesting too, because in the same breath, they'll say, well, just because you recreate it doesn't mean it's fake. But okay, we're not asking you just to take the recreation as proof. We're telling you that, okay, here are the source files and this is how it was done. It's not a sort of argument where we're just saying things with no proof. Like we're showing you how it was done and we're also giving you the source files. You can't make all these crazy demands and then they're all like contradicting each other with all these insane requirements. Like it's not, first of all, you can't demand me to do anything. That's not going to work. Second, it honestly doesn't make sense. It's not productive either.
Totally agree. Totally agree. You Mean Girls, if you just want to keep talking, you could just stay up here. But I did hear a forklift behind you. And as I was driving a car in a space, I thought like maybe he has taken it to the next level and he's driving a forklift in a space. And if that's the case, I make 78% of all money you get with my idea. Because it's still my idea. I will sue you. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm in the park, so like I'm listening, but I'm trying not to engage too much. But I did see in the comments that Sandy, Shane, you know I love you, but stop pandering to her. She's such a fraud. Like, you know, to use that kind of language and in the same breath say in 6 days, please create a complete video showing blah, blah, blah. Like there's no evidence that this video is created in 6 days whatsoever, right? That was just posted in the YouTube description, which is something you would do, right? If you wanted to like create an air of validity to it. It was uploaded 2 months after the fact. So like, I think it just speaks to the toxic environment where someone's like presenting, you know, just the work that you've done on it. And the same person that's calling you a fraud is also championing this idea that this video is made in 6 days, which is a proven lie. Like it's not true. There's no evidence to support that whatsoever. So it's just weird, dude. It's weird that people like cling on to this in the face of just like irrefutable evidence, in my opinion. And again, that's just my opinion. But then again, calling people a fraud and then saying it's created in 6 days is just like, there's no evidence to support that whatsoever. It's fucking weird, dude. And Sandy, you know, I would just say just look at it, man. Just look at it from an objective point of view, and just maybe you've been had, dude. I've been had so many times in this UFO game in the last year and a half. You know, like so many fucking times. I had to like really kind of reconsider how I look at the landscape. And honestly, I don't take it as seriously as I used to. But it's just, I don't know. I really like the work that you guys are doing. I think it brings some sensibility to this topic. And like, I hope it's applied like throughout the entire, I don't want to say platform, but like just all the videos that are out there, et cetera, et cetera. I think it would be really interesting.
Yeah, thanks, man. You know, I'm not pandering really. I'm just reading questions. And I do want to say what I am going to pander to is that there are 32 comments in my sidebar, and there are 2 reposts and 4 likes. What are you doing here, people? All right, put down your chips and dip, because I'm not eating. I'm not, you know, I'm not eating chips and dip. I might be. And it's, you know, like and repeat the damn space. You know, let's have a good discussion. You know, I'm going to pander to more people. Yeah, I'm going to keep pandering if I keep getting likes and retweets. You know, we're all here for clout, people. I mean, actually, we're not. I'm just actually here to discuss these videos that I've thought have been fake since day one. But we have an expert up here that will tell you and tell you why they're fake. Then you have people in the comments who demand that you do something in 6 days or demand that you do that, and that's not fair and objectively stupid. But you know, it's what it is. But you know, I used to love David Wilcox. Love him. Thought he was the best. To love Bob Lazar. I would go to town for Bob Lazar in the YouTube comments. Boy, I'd be like, you don't even know who this guy is. They're gonna build statues of him in the future. You just wait. And another 5 years goes by, another 6 years. Bupkis, nothing. George Knapp says he knows where element 115 is, but then I'll dig it up when Bob Lazar dies. Well, you're older than Bob Lazar by 20 years, so that's not gonna happen. That's why you set yourself up there. But you know, and you just have to look at it for what it is, and it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be hacked. I'm probably following some shit right now that is total bullshit that I believe, but I'm not out here like telling people I'm going to slit their throats for it. I mean, goddamn, Jesus Christ.
It's interesting that they are in the same breath of calling me a fraud or telling me to recreate this in 6 days. So I don't understand that. And so, but regardless,
that's a good point.
Any of that though, just to let's clarify some things about this footage. So, one of the things that they say, and this is where I think the 6-day argument comes up, is that they couldn't have possibly known this coordinate data because the telemetry data didn't come out until months later. But, and I always kind of try to point this out when this argument comes up. The same area that the coordinates are located in, right off the Nicobar Islands, that was an established search area at least 6 days after the event. So again, this was, the thing that they posted this article on March. I don't want to give the wrong date, but I believe it was 6 days after the plane went missing. They posted where, the ships were searching, where the planes were searching, and it was in that area. So a hoaxer, all they would have had to do was see that article again 6 days after the event, and then they had up until when was it released? May to do it. Like it's not, first of all, they could have been done in maybe less than 3 days, but that's the high end. Honestly, I feel like it would have, if they started in the morning, they would probably be able to do each in a day. But that's,
are you talking about with our modern highly advanced teleportation quantum computing technology, or are you talking about ancient historical lost in time 2014 technology?
Ancient historical lost in time 2014 technology, same technology that made Interstellar and Avatar in 2009, using the same same ancient history asset from Anchorman in 2004. Like, you know, it's a bonkers argument. Honestly, in my personal opinion,
all lost to time.
It's interesting that they continue to assert this.
All that sweet precious technology lost to the aether of time. Like sands on a beach, they blow away. CPUs, RAM, God, never to be seen again. But let's get to the hands. And once again, Cryshlee, you're so level-headed. You make such good points, man. Awesome. You're going to be huge, dude. You're going to have 4.7 billion followers. And when you do, just remember that you talked to a crazy dude named UFO Shane one time. And bring me with you. I'll take half, 78%. Let's go with Tupacop.
What up? I
was
just sculpting a commission sculpture of Bob Lazar. And I thought to myself, you guys only have 6 days to prove this idea or I'm out. No, good points. So Cryshlee, I'm just now hearing about this. You know, I just checked out your YouTube channel like earlier this week. And so I have some questions, just some general questions, because I'm getting caught up on this. This last 20 minutes has been pretty much the most I've heard you talk about it. I'm curious, everyone, they're all referring to you and your work, but when you refer to your work, you say we a lot. Who is we?
So I think that maybe what gets lost is that there are other people who are interested in this case who aren't a part of Voldemort's army, right? And most
I don't
of us
I don't understand the phrase.
Huh?
I don't understand the phrasing.
Oh, well, I'm sure someone else can explain it to you, but I don't want to call names here here in this space. But
Oh, 1 second, I'll do it. Tupa, Ashton threatened to sue people. He threatened to dox Cryshlee. He's threatened a bunch of like crazy shit. You can watch the clips; they're nuts. And I'm friends with Ashton. This did happen.
No, I
And
understand.
so,
I knew who Voldemort was referenced to.
oh,
I didn't
I thought you
understand.
hadn't watched Harry Potter, dude.
No,
I was like, what the fuck?
just regular context clues could have clued me in on this. But what I didn't understand was the idea that like other people are interested. That's what I lost track of. So,
yeah, I wasn't finished
It's
explaining.
weird. It's weird. My bad, Cryshlee. Go ahead. You
Yeah,
are co-host.
sorry.
You have the floor. I will go back to 2014 technology.
Yeah, so other people are interested, and most of us hang out in the same Discord that was created in honor of this discussion. Most left and went to the other side, and the other stayed, and we have all just been investigating at the same rate. So when I say we, that's who I'm referring to, if that answers your question.
yeah, so just like another collective kind of people who were looking into this, even when no one had answers on the videos, and you guys are still doing your thing.
Yeah,
And is this other VFX artists or just people who are interested, researchers, just a general group of people?
I mean, it's everyone who's interested. So the Discord is open to everyone, so everyone can join. We have some who are motion graphics artists. We have some who are photographers, some who are engineers, people from all walks of life. I wouldn't like classify it as one particular group, but I would say that a majority of them, if not all of them, are interested in looking at the case.
Awesome. You made your points very well in the videos I saw, the breakdowns. You clearly showed how you would do it, even down to some of the assets you would use, right? And that look almost identical to the ones being used. And I think that's really interesting. But like, what are your thoughts on the idea? Like, cause I've only heard, honestly, like so many rebuttals that hold any water that aren't just like, stop doing what you're doing. And I'm into like the data, I'm into science. Like render time is probably nothing because these videos are so short. The movie Monsters was made in like 2010 off of Gareth Edwards' laptop. So like it's possible to do these things. But what's the inception point? Have you thought about like, who comes up with this idea? Why is it accomplished? What's the, you know what I mean? Like it's just such a weird thing to see. Like, have you figured out like why it was made at all? Was it like are you theorizing as to like, is it a VFX artist just who doesn't want to take credit now? Was it part of a movie that never got, finished? Was it a proof of concept? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so I get asked this question a lot. Like, why would they do this? Who would do something like this? And the answer to that is, I can speculate. I can give you my opinion. And I just want to be clear that this is my opinion. This is speculation. I'm not saying this is for sure what happened. But I personally, as a student, I would have done something like this, especially if I was looking into, if I was interested in aviation, for example, or if I was interested in UFOs and I had this skill set, that could be a motivator. Maybe I want to make a hoax video that people would believe, but it doesn't really take a lot. Like, what I like to tell people is that the reason why people can enjoy other people's art is because it doesn't come from them. Like it's like a look into someone else's brain, and everyone perceives reality differently. And they're motivated by different things. So
right.
Their creativity could literally lead them anywhere. And it's only when they put that creativity to work that we see the end product, right? And that's what's happening here. Personally, I think that the videos are probably made by a student or maybe somebody who's pitching an idea. This could be like a test, for an upcoming film or something. Maybe it didn't go anywhere. It really could have been anything. And I don't think that the existence itself, I don't think that it lends any credence to the idea that it's real, just because no one, in your opinion, no one could be this creative to create something like this.
It's not my opinion that
sorry,
one
not your opinion. Sorry, I just mean in general, like, the general public's opinion that, someone could not have done this.
Well, I know that like creativity is a pretty nebulous thing, right? So like I get like, just for the hell of it, it could get made. I have hard drives. I have old DV tapes from film school. I have hard drives with my old projects on them. But to be honest, Cryshlee, if any of my projects ended up as a worldwide, controversy pushed by a character and then like made, news all over the place, I would have definitely been like, hey, that's mine. And I made that, and stop giving this guy credit. Like I would have totally done that. Like if it is a VFX artist or a reel or something, well, in Europe, because, we work in VFX and a video, like why would you not come forward? My opinion is the person has to be dead, dude. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, I was about to say, real quick, since we're in total speculation, what if this dude died in a moped accident? He was driving in a moped and he crashed into a tree. What if he was teleported to Diego Garcia as well?
Since we're speculating. perfect storm.
The perfect storm.
Life
I've thought
imitating
about that.
art.
I've thought about that. Oh my God, that would suck ass. You just show up at a military base in the middle of the ocean, like, oh, what the fuck? And everyone in the military base is like, just point AR-15s at you. But yeah, like I've thought about that a lot myself. I'm like, why the fuck isn't this dude like coming out here? And I think that's Ashton's biggest argument. It's like, look at 150 grand on the table, man. It's right here. Come get it, but they might not even be a part of any of this at all. We often think that this community is so far reaching and so wide. It's really not. It's kind of a niche thing.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to make. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's
hey, I wouldn't be the host of the show if I wasn't a god.
Especially if if you consider that the bounty was only offered for a very short period of time, and it was before it got this big. It was still sizable, but
I disagree with that.
Well, this was in December, right? How big was the community in December?
I think the community was big enough to get Kim.com interested, but right before it was getting, it was on some of the biggest.
How'd that go?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, it was definitely making a lot of news. You know what I mean?
News in terms of this community or in general?
When you say this community, I mean, are we referring to MH370 X or UFO Twitter? Like, what do you mean?
I mean the community who was looking at it. Everyone who had access to this. Is it everyone in the entire social media sphere, or is it within this area?
I don't know. I have to look at the dates of like the Julian Dory and like Danny Jones interviews, and those kind of popped off. I know I interviewed him in October of 2023, so like that was like already it was making a lot of groundwork, and by that time I was able to watch podcasts that he was on to get an idea of what he was doing, what he was talking about. So like,
God, I interviewed him like in July or something. I interviewed Ashton when he had 400 people. I didn't even actually interview him. He just popped in the show and he was like, these videos are real, dude. I'm bringing the truth. I was like, these videos are fucking stupid. And now we're cool. I'm probably not after this show. I hope we are. But probably not after this show. But Tupa, I do have to get to the other hands, man, because 3 hands popped up. You always ask very insightful questions. Why I can't stay mad at you, boo? Why I can't stay mad at you? Because, honestly, me and Tupa have had multiple falling outs. We have a falling out, what was it, Tupa, like every 2 weeks? Exactly.
On average.
On average, every 2 weeks. I quit drinking though, Tupa, so I'm working on it. But let's get to the hands.
Wait, before you call on someone, I do want to thank Tupa. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm like hand waving the question. It is an important question, but I do think that maybe all the aspects here aren't considered. Like, yes, they could have come forward, but there's so many other reasons why they may not have. And again, people have speculated they could be dead. It's been 10 years. They may not even be in this. First of all, they may not be on social media.
Well, there's an infinite amount of reasons, but
infinite amount of reasons.
It's becoming less and less likely as time goes.
Well, I will add that I used to play this video game called New World, and I played the alpha and beta and the alpha and the beta of it, like the early builds. And when you died back then, you lost all of your gear, and you could voice chat, right? So I had multiple characters with multiple different voices, and I had one main character, and everyone to this day, if you go read the forums about it, they still talk about me, and they all think that I'm some Australian guy. And I could go on there and be like, you know what? No, it's actually just me. It's a dude from Arkansas, works on a chicken farm. But I think it's hilarious. I love trolling, and I just think it's hilarious. So I don't say shit. I just literally sit back and just laugh. Maybe that's all it is. It doesn't have to be some deep, like Schrodinger's cat thing. It could just be the dude's just, he can't believe it. You don't always have to seek relevance. Especially if you're an artist, right? Like artists are weird like that. But yeah, we're going to move on to the next, hand. And once again, I did cut in, but I am the host. This is my house, and Cryshlee's as well. So Cryshlee has an even bigger house next to mine. I just want to make that very clear. Her house is so big, and it's built on rocks. Because build your foundations on the rocks, people. Don't build them on the sand. I'm not Christian, but a very good parable. We're going to get to the hands. I don't know who the fuck was next. I lost track because Tupa's such a good speaker with his deep. Damn, Tupa, your deep voice just. Anyways, let's go with Jazz Deep, because I know he was up here before and he got dropped down on accident or whatever happened to Jazz Deep. We'll go to Jazz Deep, and then we'll go to Arson Tony, and then Manny. Does Manny talk it? But it's not unfair.
Hey, thanks, Shane. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, cool. Cryshlee, I really liked your video, even the one that you did before you went on Lou's show. And I haven't seen anything from like Skyfire News and Tupa or anything like that. People that really gave Ashton a platform and have been kind of, pushing this conspiracy. They haven't really touched this obvious debunk. So I was kind of wondering if we can expect Skyfire News, people like Tupa, to share Cryshlee's work.
Can I speak to that real quick? We actually have a interview scheduled with her. We were supposed to do one earlier this week, even. It just got delayed till next week.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'll expect just as much, pushed out there on the debunk as we've seen with the Ashton stuff. And another comment, just as far as why somebody would make this video. I've made made memes and videos. I mean, I've got one of like George Knapp has dead cats under his couch. You know, some really ridiculous, stupid stuff. And like, a lot of times I don't associate myself with it necessarily, like, because I know how crazy people can get. So as far as somebody not wanting to come forward, I can completely understand why they wouldn't. And it might just be something kind of stupid that they've made, you know, but that's all I have for you guys. Thanks, Shane.
No problem, man. Thank you. I will say, Tupa, because he did bring up Skyfire News, I do hope that you guys cover this, cause I know, I know, I've been in the group chat. So I hope that you
What do
do
you
cover
mean
it.
by
Like,
that? Hold on. What do you mean by that?
No, I just mean like you're in a group chat with Ashton, right?
Absolutely. But what do you mean by,
I'm just saying, I mean, you're kind of, I would hope that you wouldn't be biased to him just because you talk to him every day. That's all, and that's all it is.
But you're almost totally ignoring the fact that I just told Jazz that we not only are we going to talk to Cryshlee, we had an interview scheduled with her earlier this week, and it got
That's
pushed
not what I
back.
said at all.
Okay.
That's not what I said at all. And that's what I'm saying, because I truly believe that Skyfire News can be and has been an unbiased news platform, and I look forward to it. I'm actually agreeing with you. I'm just surprised. I'm actually surprised. I had no idea about it. I look forward to it.
Yeah, as far as I know, like Cryshlee's pretty new on the scene, and I mean, I'm looking at the work, right? Like, I never heard of you before talking about this specific topic. I don't know you outside of this topic. Whereas Ashton definitely making waves, going on multiple podcasts, talking, everything from freaking InfoWars to whatever. Like, yeah, he's going to be known about and talked about, and I mean, there's going to be I see a clear difference between Ashton in that regard and Cryshlee, even though they're not just because they're coming from different sides of an argument, which I think they both have extreme value, right? Extreme value. But you have like hours and hours and hours of recorded video of Ashton, diving in, doing research, sharing it with people like Dave Rossi and, Salvatore Pais, like
him telling people they deserve to die.
Oh, there's mountains of his interactions with people. I hear about that almost as much as I hear about
I do too.
His, what he thinks about the videos and stuff like that. I know.
Yeah, he needs to calm. He needs to stop drinking those 4 olive martinis and just calm fuck down. Ashton, I know you're listening. Just calm down, brother.
Dude,
I know you're in here on your own.
I think it should not be me for obvious reasons, but someone should start a PR company here and for ufology.
Something.
Because people need to be represented as opposed to having
let me do it. And that way, whenever they're like, hey, I was reaching out, like, go fuck yourself, dog.
You're out.
That's what I would do.
You and I are out.
Yeah, I'm the worst.
We're out.
Yeah, we're out for sure, dude. 100%, dude. Too many crazy claims made in spaces. For sure, brother. I don't disagree with that at all. That's very true. Let's go with Artisan Tony and then with Manny and then with, I'm not here. This isn't happening. Why were people teleported to Diego Garcia? That's a long, let's go with Artisan Tony.
Hey guys. Hey Cryshlee. What I would challenge Tupa to do would be to come in a work session with Cryshlee and I and then T. Powell. And once you start looking at all the things that are wrong with these videos, I mean, there are so many things that are wrong with them. I mean, just minor details.
After the first one being a plane is teleported. I mean,
well, yeah, but that plus,
big ask.
We started at the beginning, right? I actually talked to Jonas myself about the images. He has no reason to lie, right? And we just pick apart. We've been having these work sessions, and if you would come in and join us sometime, you would see that there's so many things wrong with.
I'm happy to do it. Happy to do that, and I don't doubt I've always said people should not believe the videos because they show something that no one's ever seen before, and it definitely requires massive amounts of proof behind it to convince anyone, and no one should be convinced off the videos alone. One of my least favorite aspects of this topic, the UFO topic, is video evidence, because as a videographer, this is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Like, you could fake almost anything. Like, it's just crazy. It's almost unreliable. I like talking to people, hearing from the heart what they saw, what they feel, how it goes down. But yeah, I think these videos themselves have always been on the chopping block. They should always stay on the chopping block, and people need to present their evidence against it, for sure.
I mean, this is 100% cult of personality, right? You have his name that shall not be mentioned going on every day, and every time he hears
Ashton Forbes.
Whoever.
Why are you guys scared to say Ashton's name? I'll say it.
It makes him sound so.
Hold on. I'm looking in a mirror right now. I've got candles lit all around me. I've got rose petals in a glass vase sitting in hydroponic water. Ashton Forbes. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing happened. Just say his fucking name. Who cares? Calm down, everybody.
So, because there's a lot of people who...
Sorry, I have a bug where if I mute everyone, it remutes. Let's not make sense of spaces. They're trash. Keep going.
No, I was just going to say that the reason I don't mention any particular name is because there are so many people who follow him who believe it's that's why I say it's a cult of personality, that you could pick either one of any of them and they would all say the same thing, right? But I mean, just as simple as the drone appearing in a video where there's supposedly a camera below the wing. And I'm kind of giving away a little bit of content for tomorrow night that when Cryshlee comes on and she and I, T. Powell, just, break this down. There's so many things wrong. It would take 3 hours just to talk about all the things that are wrong about the video. So it's 100% cult of personality. It's, and that's just where we stand. And I challenge Tupa and Red to come in a work session with us and just look at it. I mean, tomorrow night we're going to have over 75 years of experience. CAD, I've got 30 some odd years of CAD experience. Cryshlee's got 10 to 12 years of, VFX and, video editing.
Wait, how many years of experience, Tony?
So I started in the industry.
Well, no. Like how many years? Like you said 75, right?
I was trying to add them up.
Well, I know, but let's just say 75. If you add me to the workshop, dude, you'll have 75 years and 3 days worth of experience.
Okay, I'm just saying, you see, this is what happens. People overlook. The reason people aren't getting involved.
Real quick, I literally said Ashton Forbes' name into a mirror 3 times, and he popped up. Let's go, people. It does work. Bloody Mary is real. You shouldn't be afraid to say his name, guys. Don't call people bullhorn. Like, just say his name. Like, come on, man. Go ahead.
Here we go. You're gonna bring Ashton up, and then he's gonna destroy, the cult of personality. He's gonna destroy the rest of the
I'm not, hey, these are public spaces, and Ashton is like, look, I don't agree with some of these videos. He knows this. He was invited here last night. So I think if you're gonna have an open discussion,
I think you should
you can't do both ways. He doesn't get to speak until after the hands are done. So keep going.
Well, tomorrow night we'll have, we'll have engineers, we'll have, got many years of experience in this kind of thing. We'll have Cryshlee. I've got a lot of CAD experience, and we're just going to go over it, and then that's going to be sort of our show about it, and then we can move on, because I think it's not going to be, as far as the videos, it's not going to be an issue after that. So, and I'm not going to get into an argument with Ashton because he's a professional troll, so I'll probably hit on that.
This is the guy saying that you're calling my father.
Hold on, Ashton. Like I said, you can't talk till the hands come up. You can save it.
Let me address, I just want to ask Tony something real quick before we get to the other hands here. So,
oh my God. You know what? I'll allow it this one single time, because it's going to be entertaining, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just want to read Tony's text message here. You're blocking all different opinions. This is ridiculous. It makes you look weak. If you had a strong argument, you wouldn't have to block people. The truth is self-evident, stands on its own. I know who made the videos. I've been sparing you this and waiting for them to be able to come out. Waiting on them to be able to come out. So I would have your plan B ready. Tony, can you just comment on who made the videos?
We don't really need to know who made them. I have an idea because I was given the same information you were given.
So did you lie in that post, or?
Okay, so here we go with the trolling.
That's just a direct question.
No.
Just a yes or no question.
This is what you do. You don't address the actual issues in the video. You try to attack people personally, and that's why, you get blocked. And that's why I say it's a cult of personality, because you are good at the trolling thing. You're an expert at it. And
I just read your comment, which was 100% trolling, and you've been trolling my comments. The comment before that I sent you was this: stop trolling me in the comments or I will block you. I'm tired of it. That was your response afterwards.
As if you've blocked everyone.
So can you just answer the question? Do you know who made the videos or not?
Let him talk, Ashton, you fucking asshole. He's trying to answer you.
Hey, this is a civil discussion. Okay, so Artis and Tony did not.
We don't really need to know exactly.
I'm just going to make it very clear that, and by the way, if I mute once, it's going to mute again. So probably wait a second. But let's not call people assholes. Artis and Tony's not calling Ashton an asshole. Ashton's not calling Artis and Tony an asshole. Exactly. So, it's fine. And I did let this happen when I probably should have gone to hands. So I understand that people are upset, with what's ever going on. But still, I thought Ashton was saying he knew who made the videos, and I was like, holy shit. And then it turned out Tony said that. But still, the videos, in my opinion, are super fake. And Ashton knows this. I've said this time and time again. And I do think, Tony has a good point that Ashton will talk, or you're talking about like what Artis and Tony has said to you in a DM, through whatever means. And then you're saying that about him, instead of like, talking about the falsities in the videos themselves, which I think Cryshlee has proven time and time again. So I do understand both sides here, and just understand that I'm just to finish.
So my argument there was that these are the people who are objectively lying. This is not even the only person who is falsely claimed to know who the videos were made. Grider, who's actually in the chat as well, also falsely claimed this exact same thing. So So these are the people whose words you're taking when they claim that they know what the videos should look like. These are also people who have literally
Are you
no
saying
experience whatsoever with any of these assets.
Are
What
you?
I'm saying, let me finish. I'll say one more thing and you can say whatever you want. I know these videos are real. Let me repeat that one more time. I know these videos are real. Okay?
All videos are real. All videos are real. It's semantics.
I think you know what I'm saying. I'm saying I know these are real U.S. military videos of what happened to MH370. I just want you to absorb that information for 1 second.
Why
And
are
then
you
keep going.
withholding? Why are you withholding information from all of your followers? Then
Think about why. Why would I do that?
Here we go with the conspiracy.
It's no conspiracy.
If you know, then you need to come out and
I've
be a
literally said that
whistleblower
I know.
yourself.
I've said that I know. I've said that I know publicly. So, okay, that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Thank you, Ashton.
I don't believe you know. I don't believe you could have made them yourself as far as I'm concerned. You're smart enough to have made the videos yourself.
Is that a strong theory? I'm curious.
Okay. All right. As a show host, things start getting out of hand. You have to hit the mute button. You have to go. I don't care if you have 200 million followers or 5 or 3,000 like I do or whatever. We're all equal, regardless of your clout and your behavior or whatever. I don't care what you do, what you say. Just be civil and honest. Ashton, I believe you got your point across to Tony. I believe you got your point across to Ashton. Obviously, there's conflicting things here and you guys can work that out, but you're not going to do that. You know, the title of the space is The Other Side of MH370 with Cryshlee, who's the co-host. You have to respect that. We have to respect the platform that we have and that's going on now. We can do another space after this where you guys just fucking ream each other for 3.5 hours. I'm ready for that. I love you both. I honestly, and I've said this time and time again, I think Ashton does believe the videos. And I don't, but I don't have to believe what you believe to be right? And I would also like to add that, as I said earlier, I'll go back to listen to the recording, that if you are posting something, you come up into this community basically, and you are showing something, you should be open to criticism. You should allow it. And I think that, Tony with the slick move. Tony, you savage fuck. Tony was offered co-host and he knows exactly what he just did. But it's fine because Tony was given co-host earlier.
I wouldn't take advantage of something like that. I think Ashton's actually pretty talented and he shows it every.
You just kicked him from the space by taking co-host randomly 40 minutes in though, dude. Like, you just did it.
I'm gonna respect. I mean, I think you invited me, Shane.
I did like an hour ago. I forgot.
But anyway, I'll
stop the argument here, dude.
Just drop me down. But I just want people to come listen tomorrow night on our show.
Tony.
And let them make up their own minds. I think.
Oh my God.
So. Anyway, I'll be quiet.
No, dude, you're good, man. I love it, bro. I can't believe, dude, that's something I would do, bro. And I'm like the bottom of the barrel type dude sometimes. But I am gonna have to drop you down though, man.
Okay, all right. Come watch this. Come watch the show tomorrow night.
I'm gonna be there, dude. I totally agree, man. I think Cryshlee has solid points, and I do.
Cryshlee's awesome. I want to say right quick, Cryshlee's awesome. Okay, she's the most knowledgeable person, and a lot of people aren't putting themselves out there like she is. There are lots of professionals who just overlook it because it's just a silly thing, right?
And we'll get Ashton back in here, and I will ask him all the hard questions because I don't give a shit. And Tony, like that's what. Can you maybe just unblock Ashton for the next? I'll leave you up here, so just unblock.
I didn't realize I thought that didn't affect the spaces, but
no, if you have someone blocked, it definitely affects space.
This issue is just like the UFO issue. There's a lot of scientists and technical people, professional people who don't get involved because it's so loony, right? And so you'll only see people like Cryshlee every now and then who will put themselves out there to show how well she does her job, and it's just self-evident. All the evidence is self-evident. If I challenge why everybody has to ask why he is not telling us who made the videos.
Can I just interject here? Because I don't want this to become like, I'm co-host of this space, but what I'm doing it's not just me. It's a collective voice here that is providing another look at this investigation. Yes, I have been making videos about it. Yes, they have been kind of catching on a little bit recently, but I am not the face behind them. Like there's more of us who are actually doing investigative work into this, and this is the result of all of our hard work. I think it's really important to kind of point that out because I don't want this to become a thing of like, I appreciate the compliments, but I feel like we're heading into that. The same thing that we were talking about before, the whole cult of personality thing. We don't want to get entrenched in that. We want to look at the data and what's reproducible. Like we want to use the science scientific method, sorry, to reach our conclusion here. I think that's something that we should really keep in mind, because then we risk danger of we risk drama, first of all, like we just saw, and then we risk losing the plot. I want both sides to have integrity, and I think that in order to do that, we have to kind of stay away from like personal remarks. Like, sorry, I don't want to seem ungrateful for the support, because I am, but I also want to highlight the importance of being objective about the data that we do see.
Well said.
No,
To that vein, I have
well
one question. I just have one more question. Because that's what I was trying to figure
God,
out is,
Chupacabra.
I real quick, and then I'll actually drop down, but, cause I've heard Lou reviews and other people reference you as, refer to you as a VFX expert. I looked at your reel and I see, you know, animations, I see 3D design, I see work with Blender, I see that, but what I don't see is compositing, you know, what would be traditionally Viz effects.
You just dug a hole, Chupacabra.
No, we
hold on. I say this as someone who's been in the video. I've been literally doing professional videos for like 15 years. So I know, you know, I get it. And I understand that the language crosses over. I also watched some of your video that you went over using like After Effects. You clearly know, you know, how to composite images, what to do, how to make things look like something. You know your shit. I'm not saying that, but visual, or VFX expert, I'm curious, is there anyone else on the team who has a lot more experience in that vein? You know what I mean? Creating like.
So I did speak about this before. I don't think you had joined yet, but I know that a lot of people think when they think of VFX, they think it's only compositing, but there's other parts of it that are kind of overlooked. In order for the assets to get onto the screen, they have to be made. That's one of the things I was involved in. I was also involved in motion capture, which is another huge part of VFX. So just to like, you can, and as you've seen, I have experience with compositing, but my main work was creating the assets to be used in VFX, doing the motion capture, and then, you know, the other related aspects. It's not just compositing. And to say that someone is not a VFX expert because their reel doesn't show,
I didn't say that.
Actual compositing is.
No, I was looking for relative work of what the MH370.
I hear what you're saying, and I hear your point. But I do want to, you know, point out that VFX is not just that one thing. It's
I agree.
multiple things.
And just, you know, I'm literally coming at this without having any information, right? So I feel like sometimes when you respond to me, you're responding to a community that's attacked you. I haven't done any of that.
I know. If I come off aggressive, that's not my intention. I'm just trying to be concise with my words. I apologize if I did come off aggressive. I hear your question. It's a good point. It's something that people have brought up to me before.
For sure.
I just want to explain.
Yeah, like if I wanted to look for, you know, a visual effects artist who could do the MH370 videos, right? Who can, I don't see that in your reel. That's all I was saying. That's the point, right? Like and that's not to say that you couldn't do it or you haven't done it. But when I was looking at the reel, it looked like a lot of Blender work, animation work, which is not easy on its own at all. But you know, and we got UFO mean girls in there laughing, but
that's fair. I hear you. Like, no, finish your comment before I respond. I don't want to interrupt you.
No. So that's basically it. Is like, you know, the animations, Blender, all that stuff. It requires 3D camera. It requires 3D models. It requires all these assets for sure, and all the skill set. And you wouldn't have to be an expert to do this in 2014. I don't think you'd have to be an expert personally, right?
Wait, what's your question? Are you saying that you would have to be a compositing expert specifically to do this?
No, I was asking, on your team, is there other people who have visual effects experience that's more relevant to what the MH370 videos look like? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, of course. They may have not come forward yet, but there are definitely people who have the experience who are on this team and investigating. Nice. I'm hoping that in the next coming days they can come forward, but I do think that a couple of them are a little bit apprehensive of joining this talk because, again, there have been threats, there have been implications of doxing. Like it's not a easy community to kind of speak up in. I think that's a very huge problem with this discourse. We can't, like, one side is extremely toxic, and I'm not going to say that there aren't people on this side who aren't toxic, but there's definitely a difference here. You can see how things kind of, the mood here kind of changed when let's just say alternative opinions were starting to bring forward. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have opposite opinions here. I'm saying that the way that these were brought forward were inherently kind of toxic. And I think that's something we should probably steer clear of.
No, I know that because I'm having to break through that just by asking you regular questions. Like if I were to ask you, like, how long have you been working in VisFX or 3D animation? What's your experience there? Obviously you do professionally. This shit looks dope. It looks super clean. What's your years in? How deep are you in this? And when did you get
started? Tuba, that's your last question. You're literally going to interview her, dude. Don't interview her on my show. Like, it's the last question, dude.
Your question is how long have I been doing VFX specifically?
Yeah. How'd you get into it? I mean, it was just, just
Yeah,
curious.
so I've been doing this work for about 10 years. I explained previously that I started when I was in college, and then while I was teaching, I was still doing it. And I was teaching the students as well, the same thing. Once I left school is when I went to business for myself. I worked for a studio for a little bit, and then I left the studio most recently, and in business for myself. So to answer your question, about 10 years.
All right, there you go. 10 years. I would like to say, we have all these hands up, man. We've had Cryshlee here for 2 fucking hours before here, and all you guys are off somewhere else. And now you know why you're here? You're here because it got heated. That's what you're all here for, right? The drama, the fucking drama. We don't want any of that. I'm not here for drama. If that's what you're here for, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Ashton's more than welcome to come back and have a civil conversation. But I was asked, like, let me just talk to Tony real quick, and then look what happened. The space blew up with 50 fucking people. Whatever. She's answered a lot of the same questions Tupa asked earlier in the space. I'm seeing a lot of people here who are at the start of the space who left the space because it was just facts. And facts, they don't bring views. I've had scientists, I've had actual people who work at Area 51 give you the truth, and then everyone leaves to go listen to someone tell you that they drove to Black Mountain and met aliens. But I hope that the hands that are coming up have questions for my co-host based on the show. Once again, the title of the show is The Extraterrestrial Explorers Enclave, The Other Side of MH370X, featuring at Cryshlee. That's the focus on here. But on that note, if you are enjoying the space, please like and retweet. That'd be great, because we're still at only 4 reposts. And I would like to real quick, they removed me from the space for having the meltdowns, but all I ask of you is please don't have any fake quotes of things I've said. I would be able to use this space as a therapy session. They clearly need it. Number 1, that is not true. I did not kick him from the space, and Arson Tony accepted co-host 45 minutes later, and he was removed. And that was immediately called out. So that's not true at all, Ashton. Also, dude, you're talking about the quote that you said that everyone at the plane needed to die. I haven't seen the clip personally, but I don't know why Cryshlee would lie about that. If anyone does have the quote, you're welcome to send it to me in DMs, and then I will make it public, and then we'll see who's lying there. So I understand that you're upset, you're heated, but don't attack me or my co-host or the show because you feel like you were removed. You were not removed by anyone here on purpose. Arson Tony came up as a co-host and you were removed. It's as simple as that. There's no ulterior motive about it. If I wanted you removed, then you wouldn't have been able to talk at all. You would have never been brought up as a speaker. So that's literally stupid. It's dumb. Love you, man, but that's just not what happened at all. But let's get to the hands. We're going to do that now, and I don't know where the fuck to go. So we're going to go to Lou Reviews, then Logan. Or no, sorry. I'm Not Happening is next. I know that for a fact. I'm Not Happening. You're up next. You've waited patiently. And then
Why are you censoring Ashton?
Hi Shane.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that this is our Saturday night, which in and of itself is kind of funny. And I had a question for Cryshlee, which was mainly around I really enjoyed your presentation that you gave. I almost feel as though we shouldn't even have to do these things, and I think that Steve Cambion's in the chat was earlier, and he's brought up some great points previously about the fact that when you consider the amount of effort, time, and energy it takes to counter a wild claim as opposed to how easy it is just to make it or just to assert it. And if you look at the amount of energy and work that's being done around this on the other side of this claim, I just wanted to get a sense from you as someone who's dipping their toe into this so-called community. What's been your impression of how is this story maintained, given the overwhelming weight of evidence that it's clearly a fake, notwithstanding the fact that it's a picture of a plane being zapped out of the sky by alien UFOs, which should be a pretty good indication in and of itself again. But what's been your impression of how is this story maintained, and of the people that you've encountered within it, and how do you think it is that even with that weight of evidence, people still want to cling on to the possibility that these things are real? And I just wanted to get your overall idea of what it's been like to engage with this community a bit, and what your takeaways would be.
I would say that at the end of the day, I'm kind of sympathetic to the people who are in this community, and mainly because I feel like a majority of them feel unheard, and I think that's what a lot of the whole the movement behind some of these things is about. It's about being heard, about their experiences being validated, and not just that, but also feeling like they're a part of something, and that's something that we all kind of strive for, right? And I think that's probably the basis of things, which is why while it is, I do have some negative feelings towards towards, some of the attacks and, the behavior, the overall behavior that I've seen, I realized that I feel like a lot of it is coming from a good place. They're just kind of going about it maybe the wrong way. But I feel like the reason why something like this is
That's
able
a very
to...
compassionate way of looking at that situation. I applaud you for taking that approach.
Yeah, I mean, we should all probably be compassionate to each other.
Yes, of course.
Real quick, guys, just real quick. Sorry, Cryshlee, I have to interrupt. I did ask to be sent the clip, and man, it did not disappoint. While he does not say, in my opinion, that they deserve to die, he does say that their deaths, in a way, are justified. So we're going to listen to the clip because it was said to be misquoted. So we're going to listen to the clip. Here we go.
What was the other thing I was going to say about amnesty? Oh yeah, so here's the other thing that's crazy. God, this is something I've been thinking about recently, that we talked about in some of the spaces, which is we might even have to come out and say we did the right thing by stealing the plane. I can't believe I'm saying that now, 9 months after, but I think that most Americans, if you tell them that the United States government took this plane so that China would not have access to super advanced weapons, the same weapons that we used on the plane, I think the vast majority of Americans would say we did the right thing. In fact, I think maybe we did do the right thing. And that is a dark thing to say, everybody, but I think it's the truth. And I always like to say the truth. So it's hard to say, but not only do we potentially have to give amnesty to these people, but we might have to admit that if preventing this plane from going to China was actually preventing them from getting access to this technology, then from a geopolitical perspective, you could argue that it was justified in doing that. It's probably the darkest thing ever on the face of the earth that I've ever had to say. But it's kind of like the same as saying like it was justified to drop nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh no, dude, don't double down.
Really destroy them. And a lot of people say, well, killing is never the right thing, but we don't even know that we killed these people. But you're right. And I think that the world's not that simple, is what a lot of people would say, is that the people that dropped the nuke would say that, well, we dropped the nuke because we saved millions of lives from having to go to a land war. No? And that's probably true. I wish everything was as black.
Okay. When he talks about the plane and justification, he's talking about 239 people losing their families, their lives, their dreams. That's what that is. And I was, people in the comments right now and blowing me up.
There's nothing wrong with what he just said.
Oof. I don't know about, literally he said that we killed 239 people.
No, it's a guy, you're listening to a guy, it sounds like, who believes that this video's real, number one. And then he's
okay, once again, Chupacabra, you have talked for the last 30, and so you're done. I'll drop you down if you interrupt again, for real. Second of all, no. 239 people were flying on the plane, right? And their deaths were not justified. You can mention the bombs of Hiroshima. You can mention whatever you want to say. Doesn't make it any less thing. And I do agree with what Tupa said. Like, you're hearing someone that believes in this, and yada yada. But like Ashton said, that is a very dark take, right? But it's not a dark take that just because you're saying, oh, it's a dark take, doesn't make it like not a dark take. That was pretty wild. I don't know what to make of that. But I did ask for the clip, and spaces do provide. I don't really know what to make of that. And thank you to the anonymous person that sent me that. They don't want to be known. And I think they left the space earlier. But yeah, I don't blame them for not wanting to be known, because like they're going to get attacked, I think. But that wasn't great. I will say though that the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima were dropped to keep from a land war. That is true. It's true. But that was like I don't know what to make of that. That was wild.
Can I quickly say something about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to, because I don't think that what's up for debate here is whether or not this is bad. It's whether or not it was said, and that was the reason. I don't want to lose the original point here. Like, it was said, and that was what was contested, which is why it was played. That's all.
Hey, can I pull a Kent real quick, just before we go too far off base, because I feel like the conversation is going to steer somewhere else before we do. And damn, I just noticed Tupa left, and I just wanted to say, I wanted to ask, where that comment came from. Like, are you a VFX expert? Because nothing in your reel shows anything with compositing or whatever. And I just want to say, since I've moved into 3D stuff, these are very basic techniques that apply to a wide array of just visual imagery. I'm using techniques that I knew in Photoshop, right? Masking, compositing, things like that. In DaVinci Resolve for video editing, I'm using the same techniques in Blender. So I don't think that you need to be a quote unquote compositing expert to have some of that stuff on your reel. I think Cryshlee's reel speaks for itself. To do that kind of stuff, you have to know the ins and outs and parameters to get that kind of result. And even after you render it out in Blender, you throw it in a nuke or something like that, and you do some sort of compositing compositing on top of that. So I just thought it was a really disingenuous way of saying like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, when like your reel speaks for yourself. And not only that, you're applying the same techniques, very basic parameters in your videos, Cryshlee. Like this is basic stuff that like works in Photoshop, right? Removing the alpha matte, throwing it in there, doing a free transform, or not even a free transform, or uniform transform on the length and the width. This is basic shit that you do not need to be an expert to realize like how to do. And that's kind of the point of these videos is they're not some masterpiece. They're not a VFX masterpiece.
Not at all.
The genius Yeah, but the genius in the video is that it's so like lo-fi, right, that it looks real. And that's kind of a look. It's kind of a style where like some of the mistakes are, you know, like they lend to the quote unquote believability of it. But I don't think that like, coming up here and being like, well, where's the compositing stuff on your reel? It's like a real question, and I hate to say it because like I like Sam, regardless of what he thinks of me, but like that stuff just kind of like stands out to me. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't know how you feel about that, Cryshlee, but like I feel like the techniques you apply, you can apply them across pretty much every visual, medium that you're editing in. And I'm sorry, I'm 2 margaritas in, so
Hell yeah, dude.
For someone's show, but I just wanted to say that.
Oh my God, Chris.
Can I add to that real quick? I'm sorry, because that's what I also wanted to say. Like, I have a feeling when you go on that show tomorrow, it's going to be nothing but exactly that. Giving all of the excuses to try and give you these almost like backhanded compliments to dequalify the things that are coming out of your mouth because they support Ashton so hard, and they've been supporting Ashton for so hard for the last year or however long he's been pushing this conspiracy. I've never once seen the reel of Chupacabra. I'd love to see his editing reel. Someone please, UFO Mean Girls, if you have that, please send me the clip or the link, because
we shouldn't be doing that either.
Well,
I'm
curious because again, like he's sitting here saying that he's got 5 years more experience than Cryshlee, but he's the only VFX expert where we haven't seen his reel, and also he's the only VFX expert that for some reason can't come to the conclusion that those videos are fucking big. So it is relevant.
But Lou, I don't think he's said that, to be fair. My whole issue is like questioning I think the first part of what you were saying is pretty accurate. Like it's sort of like these backhanded compliments that kind of like take away from the credibility of what you're saying. And I'll just add like, hey, we have people that are putting themselves out there, like putting up videos and showing techniques of how to do this like in under like an hour. Where are the VFX experts on the other side that are saying, hey, no, check out this discrepancy. There's no way this can be VFX. This has to be real. No, I don't see that from the other side.
Instead, they just provide arguments like they just did here, which is why it's like, okay, well, if you're going to sit here and question that reel, I want to see your reel. Since you're the big VFX expert and you seem to be the only one standing on TV softly defending the veracity of these videos. It's just insulting.
Well, but that's why I brought that up. And he said, what are you trying to say? There's a Sky, I was a part of Skyfire Nation. Regardless of what Chupacabra and Red Panda said, that I wasn't, I can play the clip from their boss. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'll do that right now. What we'll do is we'll play a clip from their boss stating that I have and will always be. While I find that, while my PC doesn't load it, so I probably can't play it. I've played it several times in space. There's James Fox.
I don't think I'm not here got to finish what he was saying.
But I'm just saying, like,
yeah, can we also,
but
can we just hear Cryshlee? Can we hear Cryshlee talk about some of the basic techniques that were used? Like that these are not some special compositing, you don't need a compositing degree to do what you did in those videos.
Yeah, she talked about it at length at the start of the space, but no one was here then because they all waited for the drama to join. Yeah, go ahead, Cryshlee.
Sorry. Yeah. So again, a lot of what you were saying, I get it though. I don't think that but I don't know Tupa, so I can't really speak to his intentions, but to me it didn't really come off as being, antagonistic. I do understand his point. I feel like most people probably think of VFX, because he's not the only person who said it to me, as most people think of VFX as it's mostly compositing work, but sorry, I have allergies, so quality of my voice may go in and out, but yeah, like you were saying, the techniques there are not different. You can see kind of how do I put it? Because it is maybe hard for people who aren't in the industry to understand, but compositing is really, it's a combination. Sorry, VFX specifically is a combination of different things. And the same foundational principles that you learn as an animator or as a motion capture person who does motion capture, or who translates the motion capture to the model, stuff like that, riggers, modelers, they're all part of the same, especially if the end product is something that is VFX. They're all VFX artists. It's not only compositing, but regardless, the same skills that are used in these 2 specific videos, I would actually probably say that it's not VFX because it's not real footage. It's I don't know how to put it, because the other discourse around here is that, it can't be fake footage because there's clouds and there's movement and the plane is moving in 3D and stuff like that. But in this work, 2D images specifically are used maybe in 99% of the work that we're doing here. So having that background in 3D is necessary to be able to dissect these, because you need to understand how 2D planes work. You need to understand how how to have those in the scene in a believable way. So if if they're too close to the camera, or if they're too far from the camera, stuff like that, those are things that you need to look out for. You need to understand how to make things transparent, and that's not necessarily a compositing skill. That could just be an image processing skill. Like there's so many different skills that go into this. Just to pick out one is a little bit it's disregarding everything else. So basically everything you said, I don't want to like repeat it because I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself, but and I also feel like I lost your question there as well, getting a little bit too high on the tangent.
Real quick before Chris goes, coming up here, and I'm friends with Fast, right? I've made that very clear. But coming up here and stating, I know the videos are real, right, is no different than Ross Coulthard telling me he knows where a UFO is buried and not telling me where it is. It's no different than George Knapp telling me that he knows where Element 115 is, but not telling me where it is. Both of those things are what we look for. Both of those things are full disclosure, right? And I will gladly eat crow. I will eat the entire crow. I will be like Ozzy Osbourne, fucking eating bats. But coming up here and just saying, I know for sure, and then someone asking like, hey man, why aren't you telling us that? Well, because you don't really know, right? I mean, honestly, saying, I know for sure this and that, but I can't provide any evidence of it, but based on my personality and what I talk about, just believe me, bro. That's not the right thing to do. If what you're doing is genuine and true, and you know it to be real, you know for a fact, then tell me why. Show me why. Don't put it behind a paywall. Don't do any of those things, right? Just tell me. Show us. Show me. Because I know for a fact these videos are fake, because you look at them and they're fucking fake. Like Cryshlee has laid out why they're fake. And, Average Chris, you're the co-host, dude. You don't have to raise your hand. He's a co-host, man. It's his house. So let's let Average Chris go.
Well, you know me, I don't like to talk before people. But I just want to come on here. I don't think I could stay as co-host because Ashton has me blocked. So I don't know if that means he can come in the room.
No, he can have you blocked all day long. It's only if you have him blocked.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, so I just want to say, Krish, you're doing awesome work. As you know, I've been trying to post your stuff whenever I see it. I'm on and off here. But you're doing great work, and it's quite, I don't know if it's comical, but the fact that it's gotten to this point where we've had to have people that are, experts, experienced in visual effects and the things that go into this have to come in and break this down like you're doing. And then on top of it, we've seen the attacks, the threats and stuff like that. This is part of it. It's astounding that it's gotten this far. I mean, these videos they've been discussed, I don't know how many times by different people. When I was talking with Keemstar and all them, Keemstar wanted me to debate Ashton. And the only reason I didn't, to be honest with you, is because I don't have experience in visual effects and things of that nature. I'm completely ignorant to it. I just know I can look at a video and I'm like, that's fake, right? There's no way that that's possible. One, because the so-called sensor operator or the sensor that's being recorded from on one of those videos can't shoot at that angle. Like it just wouldn't work. There's a lot that goes into that, but I just want to say you're doing great work. And, I also want to just give you some advice from a guy that's been on this platform a little over a year. I'd be very hesitant going into conversations with people, because they're going to try to discredit your work and they're going to try to make backhand comments and it's going to try to be like an attack. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but it is well established and I can verify, Tupa and Red Panda, they work with Keem, or they might, I don't know if they still do, but they all do. And Ashton's part of that group. So they're not going to go against Ashton. That's just not what they're going to do. I mean, Keem's even said that he thinks the videos are fake, but what they do is they're working together to try to build a platform. Keem's trying to do this thing. He's trying to monetize it. Good for him that, it is what it is. That's his business model. Let it happen. But if you're not for the drama, Krish, I would probably not recommend it. Just giving you advice, right? I would like to continue to see conspiracy, you just do the work. Try not to get involved with the craziness that comes with this platform, because let me tell you, it's here and there is a lot of craziness. Just keep doing the good work you're doing. I think it's exceptional, and it's needed because it's now just one more person in a portfolio of people that have debunked these videos. And the reason why Ashton will never concede, because it is the harsh reality that without this subject, Ashton has no relevancy in social media on any platform. He is known for MH370 and that is it. So outside of that, he's going to hold on to this thing for dear life. And I can promise you, he does not, I heard him say it. He goes, "Oh, I know. You need to understand that Ashton Forbes is a guy behind a computer. Some people have looked into what he does for a living. I can tell you with 1000% accuracy that he has no access to anything. He's just a guy that talks a lot on a YouTube channel. So he's going to continue with this thing, and he's going to keep on with the conspiracy theories, because that's the kind of circle he's in. He's in the conspiracy theory circle, and he's going to keep with this thing because this is what he does. He goes on YouTube. He does this thing every night. He talks on this chat room. That's his social life. That's his social network. So he's not going to give it up. So as much as you debunk it, Krish, he's just going to keep coming. There's, his followers are going to attack you. It's just going to be a never ending circle until one of you concede. And he's not conceding unless they find the plane, which they've already found the parts of, but unless they find the plane, I don't think he's conceding. So,
he won't concede even then.
Yeah. So that's just my advice, Krish. I think you're doing amazing stuff, man. And like, I just, every time I see it, I try to retweet it out there. I mean, I'm a nobody, but like, I try to get your stuff out there as much as possible. So keep it up.
That kind of is where I was going with my follow-on question, Shane, to Cryshlee, was the fact that, at what point do you sort of say to yourself, sorry, did you hear that? At what point do you say to yourself, am I just arguing with a crazy guy in the subway, who isn't going to stop and who, thinks what he thinks? But, do you really need to spend time and energy taking crazy guys in the subway seriously?
God damn.
Yeah, and I like to be very clear, like, spaces are not like YouTube shows, right? Like you can have people in the comments that disagree, and that's fine. It's in the comments. It's mostly ignored, unless you donate or whatever, which is fine too. But spaces aren't like that. And I come from spaces. So if we're talking about someone, I'm going to bring them up and we're going to see where it goes. That's what spaces have always been about. And I know more about spaces than pretty much anyone in here. I've been doing them. I did them every day for over a year, right? I know how they work. I get it. But, also it's okay to have arguments with people. It's when they get uncivil, when they get dangerous, because they can be very dangerous. So I'm open to that.
I just want to kind of touch on, because I hear the point that you're saying, like, be selective with who I choose to go on podcasts with, but I don't want people to feel like I'm afraid to talk to anyone. Like several people have said, my work kind of speaks for itself. I don't really have anything to prove. My main focus is just educating people on how this was done. Now, and the other problem with that is too that I'm not really in this community, so I don't know who has beef with who. I don't know what the interpersonal drama is. I feel like I mentioned this before elsewhere, but and I realize that it's maybe a tribal sort of community. There are different tribes, there are different people who kind of follow different people, and I am on some level worried that I may not be taken seriously, or our work may not be taken seriously because I'm giving people airtime, or I'm going on other people's shows. But it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Like the same thing that I am requiring of other people, if I'm asking everyone else to be unbiased, I also have to do the same thing. I don't feel like, while it is possible that there may be people out there who are trying to catch me up, I'm a little at a loss of what I can be caught up in. Like I'm telling the truth. I'm showing my sources. Like it's a difficult thing to kind of work with, because just now I'm looking at a post here where it says I'm not sharing sources for the stuff that and everything that I post, I put a source in the bottom. Like it's not difficult to go to my profile and look and see, and then to just kind of take lies at face value, not going in and doing your research, looking at it, listening to the clip, or watching the full video, looking into the comments, seeing where I posted sources. That's on you. If you fall for that lie, there's nothing I can do here. And if me going on a show is going to dissuade you from the truth, then again, there's nothing I can't really reach you there. We can't have a conversation. And if it's your opinion that this technology, if it's not you specifically, but in general, if you are listening to this and it's your opinion and these videos are real, I do not think that the conversation should start with insults, starting calling me a fraud, a liar, saying that I'm not doing things that you can easily verify to see if I'm doing. And I think that just kind of engaging with that kind of nonsense, it paints a negative picture of your side. I just want to highlight that.
Hey, am I allowed to talk here, Cryshlee?
Are you guys, I've been waiting for a while and I popped in and out.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you guys definitely have done the work to prove these videos, to have all these discrepancies and be fake. And I mean, that has got to be appreciated. So, they're fake. And I guess my question would be this, someone mentioned, I guess Shane mentioned about disclosure earlier. The interesting thing about them is that they reveal a kind of technology that is actually real. And it explains all the observations in the UFO space. And there's like a lot of very serious science behind that. And I would say while we're arguing over like this frame or that frame and whether it matches or not, I mean, why aren't we looking at the science about it? I'm like, I was a radar operator and I was an electronic technician, nuclear reactor operator in the Navy. You could thank me for my service and all that. I haven't stopped thinking about this since I was in there. And I'm here to tell you that the science and what I see in those videos, whether they're fake or not, comport exactly with the physics that I spent the last 50 years looking at and developing independently. Then I ran across this guy named Bob Grenier with the Martin Fleischman Memorial Foundation, and he actually brought up the damn Ashton videos before Ashton did or even talked to him, and he said, hey, this looks like exactly what we're seeing on the microscopic, not like you can't see it, but like actual microscopic level that explains all this stuff. And then we dig up all these papers and we actually do real world experiments that show this stuff. And, it's real. I mean, I bet my ass on it. I'm giving you my name. I'm talking to you guys out in the open. It's real physics. And then there's this guy, Malcolm Bendel, and he's doing this stuff with the thunderstorm generator, which could actually, reverse global warming. If you think too much CO2 is causing global warming, well, you can take an internal combustion engine and retrofit it, and it puts out air that's cleaner than went in. Actual fact. I'm not BSing. You can check it, and we can walk through the science. So I guess my big question here is, while we're arguing over this frame or that frame, I gotta wonder about the motivation behind people when they're getting this vehement about it. I mean, let's pull back and go, hey, let's get to a post-scarcity society, because if this energy is free, we don't need to fight. And I mean, I was one of the thugs that was hired by our rich Uncle Sam. I drove his gray ships. I understand all that firsthand, and it ain't glorious. It's horrible. It's fucking people dying, and it's dying over stuff that these guys know and they are actively hiding. So, I mean, even if the videos are fake, why aren't we just drilling down super hard with the same amount of effort on the science here, which is real? I mean, can anyone answer that?
Well, because you can argue the science for like the warp drive in Star Trek or like the things in Star Wars.
Am I on?
What's being implied here?
Hello?
What's implying here is that, yes, you're on. The U.S. government basically teleported 200 plus people that have never been seen again.
Well, thanks for letting me talk if you did. Lives. I don't know.
Yeah, buddy, we can hear you.
Real quick. Thank you for your service. I do, you said I can thank you for your service. And I thank anyone in my country who fights for my country at any degree, because I love my country. I love my country. If we went to war right now, my 36 years of age and my unhealth, I'd pick an AR-15 and go fight for my country because I love my country, right? But you can't say that the videos are fake. Tassio, or whatever your name is. I was Tassio Lacoste. It's French. I'm not French. I'm not Canadian. I can't say it well. But you can't say while those videos are fake, they're showing real things. But your entire start of the argument was that they were fake. That is weird logic, dangerous logic. And I get that you saw things in the military. I understand that. But you literally, we can go back and play the recording. You started it by saying you've proven that these videos are fake, but I can tell you that they're not fake. That what I saw there was not fake. It was actually VFX that proved something wasn't fake. VFX, that's what VFX does. It makes the unreality reality. That's what VFX is. Right? Movies and all that shit. Also, Malcolm Bendel, is a liar. Proven to be a liar. You're talking about a Honda engine with this thunderstorm generator that instead of generating carbon monoxide or dioxide, generates 120% oxygen. So you could start up a generator and you could go to a nursing home and put that mask on your loved one. And then they could breathe 120% pure oxygen from an exhaust of a Honda engine. And that's why Joe Rogan did not air that show with Randall Carlson. I want this stuff to be real too, but you have to look at the facts. Malcolm Bendel is the biggest scammer of all time. If his thunderstorm engine is real, then where is it? He's had the last year to show that to any of us. It's bullshit. It's literally, you can go look it up. It's a Honda engine with the thunderstorm generator. And it made me question and look at Randall Carlson and his credibility as well. But I think Randall Carlson was correct in my opinion, but I do love Randall. But those are both, provably false statements. And while I appreciate your service to my country and the things that you are saying that you did, because I don't know, I haven't seen your D14. But that doesn't matter. I don't think you're false flagging your veteran status or whatever, but just because you're a veteran doesn't mean I need to believe every fucking word you say. My brother's a veteran. He says like dumb shit all the fucking time. And I, whatever. But you can't say, hey, Cryshlee, you've proven these videos are fake, but also they're real. That is a double entendre of just epic portions. And I'm going to be quite honest with you here. Fucking stupid. I don't know what else to say on that. But it just is what it is. And I appreciate you coming up here. I didn't mean to call you fucking stupid. I'm not calling you fucking stupid specifically. I'm just stating that the claims you made were, I don't even know where to go with them. You were tearing left and right and up and down, and you're lost in the sauce, buddy. Like you're lost in the sauce, and I used to be there. But we're going to go ahead and get to the hands. We're going to go with, Manny, you're definitely next. And then we'll go with Full Stack Logan, and then with Ross, and then with Brennan. If my co-host can remember that order, because I'm trying to make beans, for dinner at this time.
Cool. Thanks, Shane. We've gone quite a bit around. There was a few things I wanted to comment on. The conversation's kind of evolved from there, so I'll try to keep it on track. But, one of the things, and I'm glad that Tupa came up and talked. It was good to get some questions and get some kind of an opposite side of the story, or get some good probing questions. So Tupa, if you're still here, thanks for coming up, bud. But in any case, I think that there's sorry. The argument of the quote that you played where Ashton said that, this might be justified if this is something that we did is kind of egregious to me. I mean, to kind of claim that the U.S. government assassinated 300 people to cover up technology shows a severe lack of understanding about how the intelligence community works. And it's kind of shocking because he had dug into the E. Edward Lynn stuff so much, and we see how they were investigating Lynn for years and years and years. The idea that this technology got so far that it got onto a plane and the only recourse was to shoot the plane down, to me is just ludicrous. That's not the way the intelligence community works. If that technology did exist and was going to China, they would have known about it well in advance, or they would have never known about it until it got there. So it's just kind of silly, to me. And it kind of takes us into Sandy Hook territory with this whole conspiracy hoax, and this is where it gets dangerous. I made a tweet, I think last week or the week before, about how a Chinese intelligence service, a known bot for a Chinese intelligence service, had grabbed onto Ashton's arguments and was perpetuating them and trying to put pressure on the United States, saying the United States knows what happened to MH370 and owes the world an explanation and all this. And it's kind of scary, to see that there's an external intelligence community and a foreign adversary that's using, the research that this guy has aggregated from other people and using that as a way to try to put pressure on our government, is really kind of scary. And I think it should be an eye-opening wake-up call to the people who are spouting this conspiracy hoax and perpetuating it and echoing it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it, to be honest with you. If I knew that China was using it to pressure us for whatever reason. And as far as the technology being real, like I said earlier with the Star Wars analogy, it might be real. Lasers exist in Star Wars. We got spaceships. We have robot AI. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we're seeing in the Star Wars movie is a real piece of footage, obviously. So keep that in mind here too. That's about all I have to say. I'm going to drop down because my phone's running out of battery.
Before you do, Area 503, if a foreign adversary and their intelligence community is using things that you're saying as a way to kind of put pressure on your government to reveal X amount of information that they necessarily wouldn't be privy to, what's the official term for that?
Misinformation.
Propaganda.
I'm not sure.
Hold on. Can I step in here? Because this is getting a little ridiculous. This is like you're basically saying don't do research because if you do, even if it's right or wrong, an enemy country, enemy country might grab onto this research and utilize it against the country that you serve. And on the same line of on the same line of reasoning, you're also saying that he's wrong.
Oh my God.
So it's like, what are you trying to say? It's dangerous to do research, also dangerous to be wrong. Like, think about this. If this random guy, Ashton, you're saying he's an idiot, you're saying he did it all wrong. Fine, let's accept that. But then wouldn't the enemies be able to take this footage and deduce the same bullshit that he did and utilize it in the same way against the government? Like, they wouldn't need Ashton. He's not some genius. According to you, he's not smart at all. So then it wouldn't be incumbent upon Ashton to produce this material to leverage it against the government, you moron. They could do that themselves. This is such a spook thing to say. Well, be careful about what you research because the enemy government might pick it up. Dude, what are you talking about?
Are you done with your straw man argument? Can I respond?
Yeah.
You're just going to go on for an hour.
That is not the argument at all. Being a useful idiot means you're a mouthpiece for somebody without knowing it. And the fact that Ashton is promoting this, they're promoting this because does it do?
No one can hear what you're saying, bro.
All right, so I actually muted everybody because the wind was getting terrible.
Nice.
So nobody could hear anything, and then a couple people were arguing. Actually, and I'm just going to be
It
quite
gets wild
honest.
in here. It gets wild in here, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to be quite honest. Manny actually does have a valid point because it's very well known that people like Russia, China, they use we're always in a propaganda war. That's a known fact. Intelligence agencies use that's been. I can't tell you how long that's been going on. They can use stuff like that when you've got people promoting that the U.S. government was behind something like Ashton does. So it's not out of the realm. Do I think it'll happen? No, but the whole point is propaganda. Propaganda is a real thing. It is 100% real. It's used to create division in our country, and you're seeing it. You've been seeing it for the past like 6 years, and that's legitimately because of Russia and China. They have done this. So
I think it's well proven.
Yeah, so it's not out of the realm of what Manny's saying. Do I think they're going to use it? No, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like when you've got somebody that's got some followers sitting there saying that the U.S. government's behind this, while he lives in the United States, by the way, who is actually the same person who tried to purchase classified information online, which is a federal crime. The fact that he got scammed, that's neither here nor there. The act of doing it or trying to do it is actual federal crime, and he actually did it, and it's all over YouTube. So I'm assuming it's just any day now before he gets a knock on his door. Anyway,
yeah, the video was taken down, but guess what? The internet remembers it. That sucked.
I've got a recording of it on my phone. So, but anyways,
shit.
But what I'm saying is, I know y'all were getting a little tit for tat there. Manny, finish what you're saying. Actually, there is validity in what you were saying there. And then Kane, maybe they use it, maybe they probably won't. But if it grabs enough attention, and then it gets the whole point of propaganda is having one country use information and try to sway the public opinion to force the government to make a statement or have a reaction. So it's a valid point. So go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, I think you did a good job articulating what my response would have been. And it's not necessarily that it was this topic that they glommed onto. It's that it was any form of divisive or what they perceive to be a harmful subject for our government. It wouldn't matter what it is, whether it was, something political or something, in this case, the MH370 thing. So I think that would be the rebuttal, whoever asked about why they would pick this subject. And they definitely do use propaganda. Anything that they think that can devise or a divisive subject or something that's going to be controversial or cause unrest in our country, they're going to inflame in order to, reach their agendas. That's the purpose of propaganda, to sow dissent and to sow distrust in the U.S. government, which is exactly what they want. They want people in here thinking that the government lies about everything, that the government's doing all this nefarious stuff behind closed doors, that our government's doing, shady stuff like shooting down an airliner with 300 people in it, while there's really no evidence that that's the case.
Well, they didn't shoot it down. They teleported it to Diego Garcia. The plane was teleported, Manny. You have to remember that, you're forgetting that a airliner filled with 239 souls was teleported to a military base in the ocean, and then those people were executed, or maybe they weren't. Maybe they live in prison cells.
And then somehow debris still showed up that had model numbers.
Yeah, and then the CIA and
right,
the NSA.
The debris was planted by the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA,
Yeah,
they flew Chinooks. I have proof of this. Don't look into it. I can't provide you proof, but I have proof. It flew the pieces of it, and they dropped them off in the flight path. It's what happened. They were teleported. They were taken. They were abused by human NHI technology. Come on, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like honestly, man, how can you sit here and just believe this shit? How can you believe that if we don't give alien biologics back by 2027, 2035, we're all gonna die? What are we gonna do? Load it all up and shoot it into space and they pick it up in orbit? I really don't get this community sometimes. Like some stuff sounds so stupid, and then people are just backing it up all the time and time again from proven liars. Everyone goes off on Sean Kirkpatrick, right? Oh, he was mistaken about this meeting and they're attacking him. What about Lou Elizondo selling a fucking fake ass spaceship with TTSA? What about Linda Moulton Howe selling fake alien pictures that Stephen Cambion made very clear? What about Ross Coulthard telling you where a fucking buried UFO is but won't tell you where it is? What about George Knapp telling you that he knows where Element 115 is? What about Clifford Stone? What about any of the other whistleblowers who have come out time and time again, who then get arrested and sent to jail for totally different claims that nothing to do with it? What about the falsivity? please. Right?
What about
Like,
another hand?
why do you look past it all the time? Hey, whoever just said that, do not ever
That was
tell
me.
me how to run my show. Don't tell me how to run
Can I
my
cut
show.
in here for a second? Can I just cut in really quick? I really want to recommend, somebody recommended this to me a few weeks ago, this video. It's called 6 Landscapes. Okay. It's a video, it's about an artist named, it's by an artist, named Trevor Paglen, right? Some of you may have already know of him, but he primarily, or at least in this talk, his exhibit, I guess, was taking photos of classified things, right? And I really recommend that you check this out. I'm going to say it again. It's called 6 Landscapes. It's on YouTube if you want to try it. It's not a very long talk, maybe like 45 minutes long, but it is very insightful into how the logistics of secrecy with the government, how that stuff kind of actually operates. Because remember, there has to be logistics to everything. There is going to be someone who's getting paid, right, to do certain things, and that includes I don't want to spoil the things that he talks about, but the way that they have to operate, they still have to operate. I think there's like a saying, like, you can't build an invisible airplane in an invisible factory, right? You need to have the factory. You need to have the people who are working on it. There's more people than you can imagine that are actually involved in this kind of stuff. And it's less, I'm not saying that there's not things that are actually top secret that people don't know about, but there's I don't know how to put it without spoiling the content, but you should check out the video. I'm not going to spoil it. Check it out. I feel like it's kind of required watching for this subject. Whoever side you're on, once you see this video, you'll completely understand. I'm not saying that you'll, come over to this side. You'll understand what I'm saying in terms of the logistics of secrecy and how.
Can you send me that?
Yeah, of course. Cause it's so insightful. And when I saw it blew my mind. Like completely. Sorry if you can hear me typing, but I'm just gonna grab
I can.
the top.
We can. You have a very expensive keyboard, and that's great for you. I love that.
It's not expensive, but
you're playing Overwatch right now.
I sent you the clip, but
thank you, Cryshlee.
Again, please, if you do nothing else, if you don't want to hear anything I say, that's fine. Watch this video. You'll look at things a little bit differently. You may not change your opinion, and that's fine, but I promise you that it's worth looking at.
Yeah, I think anything is worth looking at, right? Even these videos are worth looking at. I think it's all worth looking at. But it doesn't mean you have to buy into it or believe it 100%. Even what she's saying, right? Or even what I'm saying. God, so many people have their hands up. But we're gonna go to Brennan Stewart, and then I'm gonna go to Stephen Cambion, who came up here because I accosted him in DMs. But let's go with Brennan.
Great. I just wanted to ask kind of like a basic question. Has anyone checked in with any member of the Espers team on any of this?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm not really sure what the Espers team is. I am ignorant to a lot of things, and you give me like what is that exactly?
Well, the team from that developed the satellite that supposedly that was the source of some of the footage.
Ooh. No, but I guess we can. I haven't personally. Cryshlee, have you checked on whoever these people are?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question really quick? You said did someone contact the?
Yeah. So Espers itself is a classified mission, but that doesn't mean that all parts of the mission are classified. And that doesn't mean that the test and simulation equipment and all the products are classified. So I'm asking the question, has anyone contacted anyone from Espers to ask them about it?
That's a really good suggestion. I'm not sure if anyone contacted them, but I think that that's something that is actionable, and we should definitely do that, like maybe after this space. We have been reaching out to people who were sourced to the VFX specifically, but I think that it is a good idea to go to the people who would have more info in the purported tech, I guess I'd say, that are in the videos. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a really good idea.
Cambia, go for it.
Yeah, Steven, lay it down.
Yeah, hi. I hate you guys. I'm trying to peel a 30-foot long log here, and I got tired of listening to music, so I tuned in. I'm just still fascinated that this thing is still going. And by the way, if somebody could DM me the Espers team, I'd be happy to investigate that aspect, because if we can get members of the team that developed the technology that somebody is claiming, created this film to look at this and say yes or no, or is this even within the realm of possibility, that'd be another very important data point. And I'm big on, looking under every stone and exhausting all investigatory avenues. I'd be willing to follow up with those people and get their opinion on it. But I just feel like I've mentioned before, somebody mentioned it earlier in the space, there's something called Brandolini's Law, which I am a big fan of. And that law states that The amount of energy, time, and resources required to dispel bullshit is orders of magnitude more than it takes to create it. And I'm kind of like over this thing because I've been shouting, into the void for a year that these videos are fake, and the retort from the other side is always some excuses. At some point you have to say, we have 10 or more VFX experts that have all looked at this and said these are fake and here's why, and people still want to argue about it. And this stupid argument made earlier, like, oh, well, he's making big waves going on big podcasts. It's fruit from a poison tree. It doesn't matter, how much attention that you get with a lie. If the root of everything you're talking about is a lie, and I do think about the family members, I had somebody die in a tragic car crash. It's the only thing I can relate it to, a family member that I was very close to. And if some idiot had gone on the internet and made a bunch of money with some conspiracy theory surrounding that, I would be pissed. And the argument we get back is okay, well, none of the family members complained yet. They probably don't even know. And there's also arguments, he says, well, I'm not doing this for fame or money. Great, then show us your YouTube revenue. Show us how much you made from the beginning of this shit till now. And I guarantee you it's a considerable amount of money. And I got to go back to peeling this big 30-foot log that's going to be the top plate for my porch roof. But I'll continue to listen. Since Shane's harassing me in DMs to come and speak, these are my thoughts. And to close, I just want to say I don't think that Ashton will ever give it up. I heard Average Chris say that this is his whole identity, and that's true. What we have is a guy who nobody ever paid attention to, and suddenly he's getting all this attention, and people are listening to him. They could find the plane tomorrow. He won't give it up. He'll create a conspiracy theory that's a fake plane or something. I think he lives in an alternate reality. I'm starting to feel empathetic or sympathetic towards him because, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to him, and suddenly he's, being listened to, and people care about what he has to say, but it's all fruit from a poison tree. That's all I got for you.
I love it, man. Sorry, Steven. And by the way, if I was there, dude, in the woods with you right now with my 6'5" massive frame, I would help you lift that log. I would help you, bro.
Yeah, you should see what I got to do just to turn it so that I can peel another section of it. I'm almost done. I'm going to get this done today, and I might get the top plate up tomorrow. We'll see. But that's a huge job.
And guys, if you do subscribe to his YouTube channel, Praise the Cast is my favorite thing he's ever done. Other than sitting David Wolf talking about Zelda. Praise the Cast! And you can do that by sending me money in my iBuyCoffee that I will post above. But I would be there, Steven. You've invited me to do that with you. And when I'm on probation, I'll come do that.
Just be aware that, I think Anthony from Unidentified, I've had a few YouTubers here, and I've had Anthony from Unidentified S4, Ron from Cosmic Neighbors, and a few others. But when you come here, I feed you really good, and there's plenty of refreshments, but I put you to work. When I have extra manpower here, I will put you to work.
I think you need to remember though, Stephen. I'm from the woods of the South, brother. We're not abhorrent to work where I'm from.
Yeah, you know what?
I work on a farm, brother.
You should have been here last night because I'm up on a really high mountain. I'm in the highest elevation in Pennsylvania, and because of the solar storms, I saw the northern lights like you would not believe last night. I tried to take some photos. I'll post them on my Twitter when I get a chance. It was a beautiful night.
And by the way, guys, I just got an alert from my my weather app that you will be able to see the northern lights again tonight. Yeah. So look out for them.
Yeah. Just a little bit of radiation comes with it.
Yeah,
Nothing
just a little bit, just a little. I've already had cancer, so let's get it.
I've never seen a visual display like that from any solar storm previous.
Yeah,
but I've only had this land on this mountain for 4 or 5 years, but it was something to see. It was it seemed to me to be almost as good as the videos you see of people way further, what would it be? Way further north.
Yeah, north.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think like all the Inuits are just sitting there like, bitches, we see this shit every goddamn night. Like, But
Yeah.
yeah, you'll get to see it again tonight. I saw it last night. I didn't make a post about it because I was like, this is pretty cool. But I stayed up and saw it last night. It was dope. It was amazing. And that is the wonderful fact of our world. It's filled with mysteries and unknowns and cool
Yeah.
ass fucking solar flares and shit. If the Carrington event,
I'm gonna have a big campfire tonight. Every year I have one huge campfire and like get rid of old logs and parts and shit. So
and
I'm gonna have a
bodies.
huge campfire. Yeah, and the bodies. I'm gonna have a huge fire tonight, and hopefully we'll see some more of that. It was interesting to see, that's for sure.
Yeah, dude. And praise the cash.
Oh, and
praise
the
the
final
cash.
thing. Yes, the final thing I want to say is I want to thank people like Cryshlee for coming forward and offering their expertise. And I also agree that somebody attacking her reel is absolutely ridiculous. This girl is on live stream recreating these videos for everybody to see. She's answering any questions people have. She's sharing all of her sources, all of the assets that she's using. For somebody to say that her reel doesn't show compositing is kind of it's a silly argument. But this is all these people have. They have no real argument, so, attack the messenger, I guess. But thank you for what you're doing, Cryshlee. I, for one, appreciate you and everybody else that's a VFX expert chiming in and trying to bring people back to reality. All right, I'm going to go peel a log now. But I'll be listening. Have fun, guys.
He's gonna go kill a log, guys. Yeah, we love, I did, thank you. Someone just randomly DM'd me and said, do not forget it's Mother's Day tomorrow. My mother's dead, but my adopted mother is dead, but I guess my actual mom is still alive and she owes me several hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I'll go ahead and message her and say thank you so much for owing me a bunch of money. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to trauma dump there.
If it
Jesus
makes
Christ.
you feel any better, Mother's Day, you have my permission as a mom, if that means anything, to honor whichever positive female figure you have in your life, even if she's not your direct mother.
I actually spent her birthday in November, the first time I went to her grave, where I did cry because I felt like, I got off the drugs. I know there's a lot of people claiming that I'm still on drugs, which is wild because I'm on probation. So I get drug tested every month. So it's a really wild claim to say that he's like, I know he's still on drugs with no proof, but everyone's always about trust me, bro shit. If you've enjoyed the show though, you can support me at the Buy Me Coffee link, above. And, 100% of that money will go to me building a 75-foot platform. Cryshlee, I don't know if you've heard about this. I know Chris has. I'm trying to build a 75-foot alien summoning platform in my backyard. We're talking JBL speakers. We're talking a Cosres mirror. We're talking a pork smoker. We're talking a Hellcat to drive back and forth from the platform to my house, which isn't going to be very far, about 18 feet. But I do want to do that in a Hellcat. Help me support my grift. I'm trying to grift here, guys, but I'm being honest about the grift, unlike most of your heroes here in this topic. So you can do that above. If you have enjoyed your time here, you won't retweet, you won't like the space. You could do that, but you won't. But you could send me all of your money, and I will build. I swear to God, if I get the $75,000 goal, I will buy a Hellcat, and I will build a 75-foot alien summoning platform. We'll have CE5 people. It'll be crazy. Maybe a bunch of 3 orbs will show up and teleport the platform to Diego Garcia. We don't know. But let's get Chris. Chris, stop raising your hand.
I only did it to make you laugh that time.
Okay, you did make me laugh. I chuckled.
I do gotta go, but just Cryshlee, keep doing what you're doing. And reminder, 2 things. Ashton Forbes said a few months back that he'd be retiring from this investigation. I believe it was in March or April. He still has not done it, which is, it's red flag number 1. And number 2, there is an active FOIA out, from Jeremy McGowan about, Ashton supposedly, submitting the MH370 to Arrow. So we're still waiting on the results of that FOIA to come back, which should be very interesting. So, it's not over. Even though most of us agree that the videos are fake. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out. Hopefully, I don't know how quick FOIAs turn around. Grant maybe know a little bit better about that than me. But I will say that maybe some more light will be shed and maybe one day this will get put to rest. But I will say, anybody that actively states, the U.S. government is killing people is probably somebody that you should stay away from. That kind of rhetoric, man, is unreal. And also he's tweeted that Putin would be a better president. So you just just kind of go with the things that you can see the kind of atmosphere that he's in. Just be wary of that. It's kind of very conspiracy theory. He calls people CNN brain and all that shit. So, just be wary of it. And, I wholeheartedly believe that the U.S. government didn't do anything like that. This is just the plane went down. It's in the ocean. We just have not found it, but they're supposed to be I think this year, I think they're supposed to be, doing another search for it, if I read it correctly. So maybe something will turn up, but thanks for having me, Cryshlee. Keep doing your thing. Awesome. Cambion, Lou, good seeing you guys as always. See y'all later.
And also UFO Shane.
Well, of course, Shane, as always.
Yeah, as always, who brought you on this platform. Never forget. No, I'm just fucking with you, Chris. I'm sorry. But like, dude, guys, we've been going for 3 hours and 23 motherfucking minutes. I mean, Chris, I joked with Cryshlee at the start. I said, we'll go for Logan's time. We'll go for 40 hours.
I mean, I'm fired up now, so we can keep going. Like, I'm not tired. Like,
shit.
let's keep going.
Okay. Cryshlee just went to the gas station and she bought a Java Mean Bean Monster and she snorted it through her nose and she's ready. She is ready. She actually put it in a dehydrator because we've been here so long, it would have dehydrated. She was like, I'm ready. Let's fucking go. All right. Cryshlee, you're doing great work. Honestly, guys, like, look, the videos are not real. Like, I don't, it's so sad that it has to go past this, right? Like, Ashton Forbes is like, I know they're real. Well, why do you know they're real? I can't tell you that, but I know they're real. Well, then I don't know that you know that they're real, and I don't know that I know they're real because you can't tell me, right? Like, that's a wild statement to make. I feel like it was a statement made in anger, but I can tell you, what, may my soul leave the will of samsara. May I burn in hell for 40,000 years. And then when I get brought out of that hell, I am put back in there for another 300,000 if those videos are real. They are fake. They are false. But, I've had great conversations with Ashton, but he just attacked me in my own comment, and I proved both of his statements to be false. What are you doing, right? Like, they're not real, man. But if I had built an entire following off something and they weren't real, I guess I would probably tell people to go fuck themselves and to die or whatever as well, because I wanted to keep it going, right? Let's be real here. If you get likes on your posts, right? Anyone in here, right? I have 3,029 followers, and I earned every single one of them. I earned every single one of them through spaces, not through my posts, but through talking in spaces. And you can follow me now and send me your money. It's linked above. But all jokes aside, that gets you off, right? In a way, like, it gives you dopamine, Like, I had a post the other day that got 400 fucking likes. And I've had posts that have gotten 2,000-3,000 likes. And I'm sitting at work working my hard ass fucking job on a farm. Like, man, hell yeah, dude. And it gets me through my day. But don't build your house on the sand. It's easier to do that, right? It's so much easier.
And do you know where that phrase comes from, Shane?
You can give me where it comes from, I suppose.
It comes from the Bible. Building your house.
Yes, okay. Yes, I'm very very aware. But there are very good parables in the Bible. That's why it's a successful book.
Shane, I hate to interrupt you again, but I'm here to grift. I'm here to grift.
Dude, you're doing 100% better than the other grifters.
I'm learning from the master. And that being said, I just wanted to inform everybody, Citizens Dawn is about to start a space, the much anticipated Divine Twin Flame sequel space. I suggest everybody leave Shane's space and come over to Citizens.
Whoa, we're going to drop him down. Do not listen to a word this grifter just said. He admitted he was a grifter and he's trying to steal my audience. Also, real quick, Cryshlee, there's a lot of people in here, Cryshlee, a lot of people who have joined other spaces who have talked shit about me. Where are you at right now? You're in my space again, right? You're here again, listening to me bring a topic to you, but I'm the loser, right? Maybe you're the loser. Maybe I'm doing the best I can do to just bring topics here in the spaces, right? I can literally scroll down and see all of you here who go to these other spaces and you just revel in people talking shit about me. God, it feels good. It feels good. I waited 2 hours. You just sitting here. Just, oh man, so good. Man, sometimes shit just feels so good. Because I don't bring bullshit. I bring Cryshlee up here. We'll have Scott Walter. We'll have Timothy Hogan. We'll have Steve and Mira, Barry Fitzgerald. We'll probably have Lou Reviews at some point in the next 3 months or whatever. We just bring people here to just tell you facts, I want to believe this shit. God, I want to believe it so bad. So fucking bad. But just because I'm an experiencer, just because I'm friends with someone, and just because my cat won't quit jumping on my computer table and she knows she's not allowed to do that, doesn't mean I have to believe these things, right? Like, I'm looking for honest opinions from honest people who have honest research and honest credentials, right? They're not saying, hey, I was in the military and I saw aliens. Well, where's the proof of it? Couldn't take a picture? Nah, man. Stupid. Stephen Cambion, who was just up here, has a 5.5 hour video covering the 90s and the 2000s of whistleblowers. People this entire community would back up right now, without a doubt. Some of them get arrested for pedophilia. Some of them get arrested for fraud. Some of them get called out on their claims and never pop up on conventions again. It's an amazing watch. I've watched it 4 times in 5 hours long. Go check it out. It's a cyclical cycle of just constant bullshit. And it's over and over and over again that we fall for these claims. We fall for this bullshit. I wish no one in this community harm. I wish Ashton the best as well. But I have more respect for anyone, right? If you get something wrong and you just admit that you were wrong. You could, name me one time Jeremy Corbell has been wrong. Name me one time Ross Coulthard admitted he was wrong. Name me one time George Knapp admitted he was wrong, or Linda Moulton Howe, or Clifford Stone, or Jesse Marcel who lied about his degrees, right? You can't. You don't have a video clip to send me. You have no proof of them admitting they were wrong. But if they did, I would love them more than anyone else, because that would show that they were human and not doing something on an agenda. That's all I have to say on that. Let's go to the hands. Go ahead, Cryshlee.
Before we go to hands, which I really want to do, I feel like we haven't really been hearing from. Well, I really want to hear the questions and the comments and the statements that people have, but
there's so many.
I do want to kind of request that we steer clear of personal attacks. Like there's no place for that here. And that includes, like, we're all adults. We don't have to like tiptoe around the subject. If you're going to come up here and then, you know, call me a liar or call someone else a liar, just don't. It's kind of pointless. It just creates a negative energy, and I don't feel like we're here to do that. If you are really concerned or, you know, wanting to get to the truth of this, if your true intentions are good, then let's continue to be positive to each other. There's no reason to be, and I'm saying this because I can see the comments. It's not like, you know, we're not operating in a vacuum here. I can see the comments that you guys are posting. Just be an adult, okay? Let's approach this analytically and maturely. Okay?
And I will tell you this right now, Cryshlee, the reason why they will post it in the comments and not come here and speak in person is because I've been on here for quite some time and they know what will happen, right? If you want the smoke, you can get all the smoke you want from UFO Shane, right? Cryshlee is on her love and light path. That's great, but you all know I will dig below barrel. So it's not welcome here, right? Like, we're all just here trying to have an open discussion. But if you want to make pussy-footed comments in the comment section, then go for it, right? That's fine. You can do that all day long, but you wouldn't dare come up here and say that to me. Good luck. Sorry, Cryshlee. I've been doing this for quite some time. But let's get to the hands. We have, who should we go with, Cryshlee? Cause I've been, I've been just reveling in this.
Hey, let me ask a question real quick. I gotta go, so hold on real quick. It's been mentioned before Stephen Greenstreet was somehow involved with the disappearance of the plane. And if you were to discover that Stephen Greenstreet had a secret collection of miniature replicas of the MH370 plane, would you consider it a peculiar hobby or a sign that he's been hiding crucial evidence in plain sight all along? Thanks. Bye.
That entire statement was bullshit by Full Sec Logan. He believes none of what he just said, and he's just trying to get you to comment on something that you don't understand.
Wait, was I supposed to take that seriously? Was that a serious question?
Do you even know who Stephen Greenstreet is, Cryshlee?
No, it was not serious. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't think it was.
No, Logan's a funny guy. Goddamn. That's 15% down and all that. 3 really quick points. I disagree with a lot of people on this panel on various different views, right? But I think something so egregious comes along every now and then where everyone can come on and be like, okay, hold on, let's stop for 1 second. And I think this is a really good example of that. Point 2, we had some genius in here earlier say like, well, why don't you do your own research? Why are you stopping? But this is the result of people's independent research not done in a vacuum without a prophet telling them this is right and this is wrong. Don't believe this. This is the right way to do it. This is exactly the outcome of independent research from a collective of people that are interested in the case that have really no bias other than the expertise they bring onto the table. So I thought that comment was really funny and just kind of stupid on all of its own. And my last point was, like I still don't know how we get past the cloud photo, right? The cloud photo has all the data sets that, a raw file has. It matches the other, 4 photos in the set. The luminance values match, the RGB values match, the exposure matches. It ties to the sensor directly to the camera, not just a Canon 5D Mark II sensor, but the actual sensor from the camera purchase. So what I'm saying is, if that raw file is fake, that is the most sophisticated fake in all of mankind. Is the most sophisticated fake mankind has ever produced, and that should be the story here. But unfortunately, that's not true. So I mean, I don't know what else to say. So that's just those are my 3 points, and I yield my time.
I agree 100%. And this is something that we've been trying to hammer in, but I think that a lot of people, their knowledge of photography kind of stops at camera takes photo. And that's not meant to be insulting, but you do kind of have to be into photography to understand why it is not possible for the raw photos to be fake. And if your argument is then, well, you can definitely fake a raw photo, I will kind of refer to my previous statement where you can definitely stuff a JPEG into a raw container, but it is not the same thing as having a genuine raw photo. There, like you said, there's information from the actual camera that goes into the makeup of that raw file that it's not, you can't replicate that. And until someone can provide that, until someone can take this low res stills from this video and create high resolution genuine raw files, that argument holds zero water. And I really don't want to dwell on it because it honestly it doesn't make sense. Just do it. Like, don't listen, you know what, don't listen to me. Go and look up what camera raw is. Go and research it, do an unbiased Google search into what that is, and then come back and talk to me about raw photos.
Oh God, you're making a big, God, you gotta go do your own research, guys. That hurts. Fuck. That takes a lot of time and effort. But you gotta go do it. You know, you probably should. You probably should do research based on both sides of the argument. I said that at the start of the space, and I'll say it towards, hopefully the end. We've been gone forever. Will there be an after space? Probably. But you know, go do your research. Like, I'm not a VFX expert, right? But Cryshlee is. Like, since when is like, oh, you've been only doing this for 10 years? Dude, you've been doing it for 3-4 years. You're an expert, right? 10 years is a fucking decade, right? Like, it's a fucking goddamn decade. Like, you need like a 95-year-old, like, I've been doing this for 90 years. I started at 5 years old. Like, I don't know what you're looking for here. You know, like if Cryshlee just said she had 5 years of doing this, I'd be like, okay, you spent 5 years of your time in your life researching this. You're an expert, right? But everyone's like, oh, well, you know, 10 years, that's just a decade, guys. You know, 20 years, that's 2 decades. Like, what are you looking for? A century-old expert? They don't exist. They're not here. Computing hasn't even been around that long. I really don't know what to do with this shit stuff. We do have a lot of hands up though. Cryshlee, we're gonna get to the hands, and then I'm gonna close this down because it's been going forever, and I wanna go watch anime. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I love anime. I love reading manga. It is what it is. We're gonna get to the hands. We're gonna go to Grider since he tried to come up 3 hours ago. We'll go to him, and then we'll go to Billy.
Hey, yeah, thanks. I finally got my computer working. Sorry about that. And I didn't mean to spam the chat I just basically unloaded all my research, like all my favorite, basically like all my favorite images that kind of give you a picture of the type of research that we've been doing behind the scenes, like that isn't VFX, as far as looking into the satellite severe systems and finding actual photos of it and finding a lot of good information. And that's all in the nest that I posted. But I'm not going to get into the VFX. Like, that's something I really haven't really looked into. I kind of defer to the experts. But one thing that really, really bothers me about the whole MH370X theory, I guess you can say, is like the lack of research into verifying like Edward Lynn's story, where, I mean, it's like over 120 times that, it's been stated on various live streams that Edward C. Lynn is 100% the guy that leaked the videos. And this guy, I got the documents. Like, I got the court documents. I don't know where you guys have been sending FOIAs to, but I found the documents for his appeals case, and was able to see exactly what he did. And I made an infographic and put it in the nest, but this man's a traitor. And I don't know where, statements over 120 times, because I got a transcript of almost the entire MH370X live stream catalog so that I could study it, so that I wouldn't have to watch it. I could skip around and search it, on a PDF reader so that I can, find topics, so it's basically so I can figure out what, the arguments are, like what the theories are and everything. And over 120 times it's been stated with 99.99% accuracy. This man is not a hero. This man was a traitor. This man betrayed our country, betrayed the trust that we put in him. He had a top secret, a TSSCI clearance. This man was going to China, mainland China, was about to board a flight, and he had classified materials on him. This man was having relationships with multiple women who were foreign agents, registered foreign agents. And you guys are trying to turn him into a hero? And where's, besides the circumstantial time frame evidence, where's the proof? Where did you guys, where did this theory come out of? Because it's a lie, and it's making a hero. It's like idolizing a guy who is the biggest biggest scumbag, that you could possibly try to make this guy didn't leak anything. It's a complete lie. It's a complete lie. lie, and it just really pisses me off. And I just want to know, like, it's just reckless. It is reckless is what it is. It's really, really reckless, trying to, like, whitewash history like that. It's, to, like, serve your own theory, to serve your own purpose. It's really reckless, and, it's borderline subversive activity. I mean, if you're an American, are you guys not proud of, like, to be an American? And I know, like, trust me, I know exactly how bad how bad our government can be, I served in the military, I got lied to, and I fell for the propaganda, went to Afghanistan and lost friends because of the because I was thinking I was going over there to fight for my freedom. I know our government can be bad, but, I mean, come on now, you think. And one big thing too that a lot of people don't think about or that a lot of people don't recall is that, right after the disappearance of the plane, our government, they seemed like they kind of knew what happened. And my theory is that we probably had a submarine that was in the South China Sea or somewhere around there that, through their sonar, through their acoustic hydrophones, heard the plane hit the ocean, assuming that it hit, at a high speed, and that we just didn't want to give up that intel, to, like, let them know, yeah, well, we heard it on our submarine that was, right outside, like, your area of operation. Like, it's just, you gotta think about it from the big picture. That's what I think happened. Is I think that's what's been hiding, is that China and us, we're playing a game of, like, trying not to reveal too much information about capabilities, whether it be satellite, whether it be, operations with submarines. I mean, there's so many different levels. You just gotta, like, to think that our government would, this is ridiculous. Like, and you know what? Let's say that the videos are real. Why in the world would you think that Lockheed Martin or our government would be in control of, like, those orbs? Like, there's just no proof. There's no proof. It's all theoretical, and it's like, I mean, come on now. Like, our country's not great, but we're not that bad. It's just a lot of speculative, like, nonsense is what it is when you really look into it. And I mean, I'm sorry to yell. I mean, I didn't mean to yell.
Grider, you go on your path, brother,
say.
Dude. That was hot, bro. I'm not gay, but damn it, dude, I am hot for you right now. Give your truth, dude. Speak your truth before your peers. I say this all the time.
No, I mean, I'm done, but thanks for letting me speak. And
I'm sorry we couldn't get you up earlier, man. We tried.
Why can't we all keep why can't we all just have a debate? Like, how much fun it could be to, like, have debates without, like, worrying about, being called a bitch or, like, challenged or being harassed or doxxed or, like, belittled or, like, I mean, it's just like, come on, this is ridiculous. Like, why can't we just have fun? This stuff is fun, Don't ever take this stuff too seriously.
Yeah, it should be fun first, right? Like, this is Paranormal Chris, who was a co-host earlier, he said it too. He's like, this is Fantasyland, right? You can just take a step back from this and nothing else will matter. And then Stone Date told me one time, when I was getting under fire because of my opinion, she said, well, you're a public figure, like, you're a guy that comes on here with hundreds of, I've hosted 1,000-person spaces, talking about something like, you're going to get flack. And when you are an influencer, it's what happened. And I was getting really butthurt about it. And she was right. And Chris was right. So, but when it comes to this stuff, like, Edward C. Lynn was a traitor. He was a traitor, right? Like, I mean, but now he's some hero who showed you orbs teleporting a fucking entire plane. Like, how much further do you have to go past that? Like, come on. And Ashton, dude, I know you're in here. I mean, I know for a fact you're in here. Because I know you're all to count. I know you're listening, dude. Like, you're not getting past me, dude. And you have had the option to rejoin this entire space. But I will tell you this. If you honestly think that a plane was flying through the sky and it was teleported, I don't even have to go to Diego Garcia. I don't have to go past that. That's ridiculous. That's wild. And then you have the whole, like, Diego Garcia aspect. You have Edward C. Lynn aspect. These are all debunked aspects. How much further do you really have to go? Just understand it's nonsense. Does it go from the truth or to belief? And I believe that 70% of it goes straight to belief. It doesn't have anything to do with what the truth is. But we'll go to a couple more hands because, guys, will I pop up into space in the next 2 hours? Probably. It's my night off. But we'll go with I'm Not Here, and then we'll go with Jazz Deep, hold on. I'm sorry, I gotta get that order fucked up. We'll go with I'm Not Here, then Chaotic, then Jazz Deep, sorry Jazz, and then Ross, and then that's it. And then we're gonna play our outro music, which will be dedicated to Cryshlee. And Cryshlee, I hope you are ready for the outro music.
Thank you, Shane. Cryshlee, you sound like someone with an old soul and wise beyond your years. And I have a really quick question for you, very simple question, because I know that there are going to be people here in this space that might be thinking this. And I just wanted to ask, if there are people, for instance, who are sat here thinking that you're a disinformation agent, or that other people that have debunked or tried to debunk this are disinformation agents working as part of the larger conspiracy, what advice would you give to those people?
To the people who think that I'm a disinfo agent, what advice would I give them?
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, there's not like, I'm not a disinfo agent. I don't really see the motive in creating a disinfo campaign about this. The videos have been the advice that I would give this person is to consider the circumstances here. We're talking about a video that's been on the internet for however many years. People have talked about it before. People lost interest because the videos are clearly fake. It has resurged, and by nature of it resurging, people are going to look into it again, and it doesn't mean that if someone comes to the conclusion that it's fake, it doesn't mean that they're a disinfo agent. I can't really give advice there because I feel like that's something that you kind of let yourself, that's a mindset that you let yourself get into, considering everyone who has a different opinion over what you hold as true as, a personal attack or someone that is trying to harm whatever it is that you're upholding. And I think that's a really dangerous way of living. I think that's, I feel like if it was me, I'd be scared all the time. And I think that's really a really unhealthy way to live. Maybe consider that other people can come to different conclusions than you, and it may be why I feel like we've given the other side a very big, we've listened to them. We have, in good faith, provided arguments, and I feel like the mischaracterization of our actions is really sad. We don't see it happening in the opposite way. And I know people are like, well, don't do the whole both sides thing, but there really is a difference here. It's evident in the comments even. You don't really see that on the other side. So I would just say just consider that, other people having an opinion doesn't mean that they're a disinfo agent. And other people coming to a different conclusion than you doesn't mean that they're a disinfo agent.
That was a brilliant answer, and I knew you'd give us a really good one. So thank you very much for that. It's been a real pleasure listening to you. Thank you.
Yeah, she's based as fuck. Like, dude, Cryshlee, how's it feel to be the most based person of all time?
I don't consider it. I feel like I would disagree, and I feel like I'm afraid of getting compliments like this because I know what the discourse is. I can already see it.
Yeah, it happens like that. I'm pretty based, so I'm more based than anyone except for you. But let's I'm just fucking with you, Cryshlee. We're going to the hands. Who was next? It was
I think it was Chaotic that was next. Chaotic.
It was Chaotic, and then
Jazzdeep, and then I think
Jazzdeep. Ross. Okay. All right, here we go. With Chaotic, we got Ashton Force back in the listener. Here we go.
Well, first I'm going to say I think we're throwing around the word debunk a little too freely because all I keep hearing is that, well, it's probably fake, or it might be fake, or if it is fake, I hear just as much speculation coming from y'all as the people who think it's real. Have any of y'all personally debunked this video? Have y'all been able to recreate this video? I mean, I haven't seen anything substantial outside of a bunch of YouTubers that want to get in and tinker around and don't actually know what they're doing. Have any of y'all personally,
That's crazy.
Whining that
was the most wild statement of all time.
American is not a debunk. That's not a
debunk. No one has said debunk in over 2 hours, so it's wild.
That's funny because I've been in here for a while and I keep hearing the word debunk over and over and over again. You guys we can 2 hours. You literally just
we can replay. I just said it just now because you said it. What are you talking about? Oh, you said it before I did. They're already dropped down. Go ahead, Cryshlee, answer their question.
I don't wanna because I do think, and this is why I've been making the moves that I've been making, because I don't think that it's been put out there that these recreations have happened. There's a really, really extremely close, maybe shot for shot. I think the only thing that's different is the model of the plane of the satellite video. People have done recreations, and the issue with the recreations is that they're set to not just changing standards, but some of the standards don't make sense. So they're not consistent either. So for example, the person who made the satellite recreation, I've seen so many different criticisms of this one, and the criticisms are they're opposite to each other, that they don't mesh. So for example, one of them is you copy the video, you just put a different plane over the top of the video, you mask the other one out. And that's kind of, first of all, that's inherently saying that it's a match, right? And then the second criticism is that what is it? It's kind of a little bit subjective. Like, okay, I don't think that looks the same. But then maybe 10 others would say, I think it does look the same. So people have done recreations and there has been mixed criticism, I would say. So I feel like people are not really going that route because it's pointless. It goes nowhere. No one will be satisfied regardless of what we do. So the best, I personally, I think some of you would agree with me on this. I feel like the best route is to kind of educate people on what VFX is, how it works, how these techniques are done. I've literally matched the zap frames in both the satellite and the FLIR. I've showed how, and this may not be on my profile, so maybe you haven't seen it, but in my live streams I go in depth. I allow questions. People ask me, okay, well, how are the orbs rotating? I show that. I show how the contrails come out of the plane. I've done these things, and other people have done these things, and it's either overlooked, and that may be because maybe it's not in a place where you can see it, which is fine, but maybe you should go seek that out before saying that it hasn't been done. I can't really say too much about it because it does frustrate me because people have done it.
Sorry, I was listening to the outro music of the space. God, it's so good. Oh man. I agree with everything Cryshlee has to say. The videos, man, I've told Ashton this time and time again, man. Like, dude, you do your best work when you're talking about secret government programs. I told you, man. I said, let it go, man, and move on to that. And you're just doubling, tripling down. I don't know what to do for you because as you know, I'm not someone who believes in these videos. I don't know what to do for you, man. Other than just keep being friendly with you and also voicing my opinion. But who was next? Cryshlee, was it Jazz Deep?
It's Jazz and then it's Ross, I believe.
All right, it's Jazz and then it's Ross, and then we're going to close this baby down, and I will reopen another space where we all just talk shit to each other. We can all just start calling each other like racial slurs and names, that fucking retards, as Heather Birdie would call Lou. We can go at it because it's going to be after dark. Right? Because, there's like Adult Swim, that exists because it was more rough, right? So, but honestly, if someone wants to listen to this space, like they have 4 hours to re-listen to this. That's a long time. But if you are listening to this right now and you're thinking, man, like UFO Shane is like a hero. Cryshlee is a hero. You can send me your money at the top, because I haven't gotten a single dollar, Cryshlee. I feel like if we were on YouTube, I would have gotten like so many chats. So many. But the spaces don't have that option yet. And I do love money, Cryshlee. I love money. God, I love money so much. But who doesn't, right? Let's go ahead and go with Jazz Deep. Jazz Deep, do you love money? And also give your...
Yeah, I definitely love money.
Let's fucking go, dude.
I got a couple quick things. If somebody has the link to the guy who claimed that he made the MH370 video for a project, I remember he did like a rather thorough AMA on Reddit, and it was clear that he had, video effects knowledge and whatnot. But if somebody can find that AMA, I don't know how it kind of disappeared. Send me the link, please. And the second thing I had was I had been researching for a while the Regicide Anon account on YouTube. I was just researching it, trying to figure out who was behind the account. And in one of the videos, you hear his voice. It's the UFO flying saucers World War II, and he uses like a voice synthesizer. He uses something to change his voice. And in the beginning of that video, he says, this footage was, don't quote me on this. It's something like, this footage was obtained through an FBI raid at the Klondike Museum of War History or something like that. Something really weird. But you'd figure a guy like Ashton would have, considering that's the only time we hear this guy's voice, and he's mentioning this museum that exists, he would have reached out to the museum to try to find the correlation between Regicide and this museum. And so I reached out to Ashton just to see if he had reached out to them, because I was kind of doing my own research, non-MH370 related. And Ashton was like, what are you talking about? What museum? I mean, he had no idea, and he was already pushing this Edward C. Lynn thing. So my point is, his research was flawed right from the get-go. I mean, the small clues that we got from the Regicide Anon account, he wasn't even looking into. So I guess that's my point, and that's all I have.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone who's claimed to have made the videos come forward. I feel like that would be pretty damning evidence.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen it.
No, man, somebody came forward pretty early on.
But did they show proof of them making the videos?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I would take people who come forward saying that they see the videos with a grain of salt, unless they can show the source files.
I understand that. He claimed that he didn't have the source files, or it wasn't. I mean, he seemed really annoyed by this whole thing. He was one that reached out to Joe Rogan after he heard that Rogan had interest in it. It's he's very convincing. And how this disappeared is beyond me. But if you do get a chance to review his AMA, you too, I'm certain, will be convinced that this guy made it. He explained why he made the video, how he made the video. A lot of people tried questioning him on the AMA, and he gave great answers to it that showed his depth of knowledge, and it all added up. I'm not, Ashton's followers kind of chased this guy away early on, but it's out there. So hopefully, if somebody can, I'll dig for it too and tag you guys if I find it.
Yeah, please do. But I've researched it pretty. I haven't found anyone who's claimed they made the videos. So that's pretty wild. But you never know where information comes from, right? Thank you, Jazz. Let's go with Ross, and then we'll close this bitch down with a nice song dedicated to Cryshlee. Go ahead, Ross.
Thanks. I got a question and a comment. Cryshlee, have you or anybody else during the course of your investigation been able to find examples with the working theory that that video is fake and that maybe the video represents propaganda, like some other people have suggested? Have you been able to find any other videos during that time period that look similar to that, or were attempting to show similar situations from a drone looking down at planes or battlefield or anything during that time period? And if you have, could you please provide those publicly so we can look at them? And then the comment, and I hope, Shane, because I'm going to make this comment, that you give Ashton a chance to respond. Ashton, I saw recently you posted papers from the OSAP DIRD papers, claiming that they're proof that the government has the technology for wormholes. All those papers were theory papers, and even the ones that you posted, Eric Davis has commented on in the past that there were theories about what could be done maybe 50 years from now. Have you reached out to Eric Davis about those papers? And if so, what was his comment about you claiming that it's proof that we have wormhole technology? All right, thank you.
To answer your question, we have looked, or not just me, but other people have looked. And I would say that if you're interested in looking up this kind of research, I would recommend, or maybe I would advise, try searching in other languages. So, for example, in Spanish, orbs is, I believe it's ovni, right? So OVNI, right? And that.
Oh shit! I speak Spanish. Let's go.
If you search that, you can find orb-related UFO type videos. I wouldn't say that we found anything from a drone perspective. We have seen a lot of airplane footage that, and the orb. It was a trend, I would say. Nothing that looks quite like this, but I will say that we found, like, right around the time that the assets that we found in the videos, so one of a pretty big resource for After Effects specifically is Video Copilot, and they released an asset pack called Jet Strike. I believe it was in 2013 that they released it, and when they released that, they also released a series of tutorials teaching you how to create footage or VFX and After Effects using their asset kit. And in that asset kit is drones, it's airplanes, like all kinds of, so it's fighter jets, main airliners like consumer airliners, like transporter airplanes, stuff like that. Whatever kind of plane that you can see in the sky, that they have it, right? And military stuff too. And
may I interject and ask a question?
Yeah.
So there's asset packs for almost anything.
Yes.
I'm also have a background in film and such. And my question would be, okay, if there are people that were making videos using these assets and trying to pass them as propaganda, or to fake UFO abductions or orb abductions and such, there should be more than one.
Wait, so I wasn't
because if you're going to take,
can I finish?
I just want to say last thing. If you're going to take the time to create a video like this, you're not going to just make one video, right? You would make multiple videos, or
I feel like that's speculation.
I mean that's
Well, I would like to finish my answer.
Sure, sir. I apologize.
Yeah. So in terms
I like this guy.
In terms of propaganda specifically, no, I haven't seen anything that I would consider propaganda, but I would agree that that's kind of subjective. If you consider orbs abducting a plane to be propaganda, then you would kind of, I guess, view other things through that light. So any airplane that's getting abducted by orb could be considered propaganda by that logic. But I wouldn't classify sorry.
I'm just
let me finish.
bringing up the theory that somebody else proposed.
Hey, Cryshlee, real quick, you don't have to say, let me finish. What you do is you hit the mute everyone button, because this is my house and your house, and you just hit that button and you point across, because these people, regardless of what they're saying or doing, are here to hear you speak. So just hit that button. It's fine. These are spaces.
I don't want anyone to feel like I'm muting them, though. I just
don't worry about that, dude. You can blame it on me.
It we should be cordial enough to, if I'm saying please don't interrupt me, if you can't abide by that would kind of suck. But I would appreciate, like, if I'm saying please don't interrupt me, if you could acquiesce without me having to mute you. If that's the case, if that's going to be the kind of space, then maybe I'll have to do that, but I would prefer not to a lot.
Well, don't worry, Cryshlee, because I'll hit the button before you ever do. Like, I'm all about it. I'll hit it again right now. I'll just hit it again. I'll hit it again, and I'll hit it again, and again, and again. Like, it's just how spaces are wild, dude. This isn't like YouTube shows where you're in the comments and people are arguing, you have your mods, like, deleting comments and stuff. Like, spaces are crazy. Like, people have their opinions, but if you do feel disrespected or whatever, just hit that button, dude. Don't be afraid to do so. Just trust me, I learned that lesson a long time ago.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not that I'm afraid. I just want to be decent, but I hear your point. I hear your point. But to finish my statement, there were plenty of people who at the time, now I wouldn't say that they're propaganda, but people were following these tutorials at the time, and you can probably find that footage. They don't all look the same as this one, but a lot of them do involve planes. I just think that this was someone who maybe kind of went the extra mile. And again, I can't really speculate to their intentions, where they're at in life, what their skill level was. But I don't think that speculating about their intention is going to help us solve what this case is about. I feel like we've presented some pretty strong points to, the idea that this is, I hate saying that it's an idea or it's an opinion that these are fake, because we found the source files. Unless someone can come forward with these, and I will sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep saying it. Unless someone can come forward with these raw photos, a recreation of these raw photos from the low res video, then we can talk. But otherwise, honestly, it's dead in the water.
There you go. We do have a hand up, and it is Ashton Forbes. Ashton, go ahead.
I was asked to respond. So I just want to clarify for Ross that no, I did never say those papers were proof that the United States government has warp drive. If you can find a quote of that, let me know. People have been trying to find the proof of me making any lies ever, and I've been on 80 podcasts, stream every night, hundreds and thousands of Twitter posts, and no one can find one lie. I was able to find Artisan Tony lying in under 5 minutes. So I just want to point that out real quick, but I do think it is strong evidence that we do have that kind of technology, because I don't think that we just write papers for no reason whatsoever. And you're right, of course, it's a theoretical paper. Most science papers are theoretical science papers, but almost all papers are that are out there. And I see Grider, this kid that I made cry the other day, drug addict or whatever, sitting over here. He was the other guy that claimed to know who the hoaxer was. So we've got two of these people that are debunkers that claim these videos are debunked, that claimed in no uncertain terms that they knew who the hoaxers were and never produced those hoaxers. So what I want to say here, just a couple quick things, is no, you did not find the source files. I don't know if you know what that means, but you definitely did not find the source files. I think what you mean is you found things that look similar to what we see in the videos. That's not the source files. The source files would be somebody who made the videos the hoaxer, which I've asked you guys many times to find the supposed hoaxer. No, Joe Lancaster didn't make the videos.
Jonas.
Okay, so for the people out, no, Joe Lancaster. Jonas didn't make the videos either.
They did.
Joe Lancaster didn't make the videos. No, Jonas said he didn't. Guys, let's just stick to the facts. Joe Lancaster didn't either. He said he uploaded them to a site that didn't even exist. That should have been the end of the discussion. But sometimes for debunkers, you guys are so desperate to believe they're fake, you're willing to listen to like absolute liars who have no evidence whatsoever. Again, if you want to prove that they're fake, all you have to do is find the hoaxer. The fact that this space even exists, where you guys are like so obsessed with me and so obsessed with these videos, pretty much proves how authentic they are, because there's never been any videos like this that have ever elicited this kind of response. And the last thing I want to say is that if you think the videos are fake and you don't want to find the hoaxer, at a minimum then you should come up with a whole story for who and how these were created. If it was Regicide Anon or someone else. That's the reason why I get invited on a lot of podcasts, is because I have a full story and can answer all the questions. You guys just have a bunch of speculative nonsense that nobody really wants to listen to. So thanks for having
No problem. And by the way, this has existed before with the Roswell slides, with the alien autopsy video. So this has existed before. So that's a false statement. Ashton, I love you, man, but that's not a true statement. And Ashton has left. He left immediately. These things have existed. They are real, right? Like, this never existed before. Look, man, I know that we're cordial, we're friends, but you can't make statements like that and me not say, because you're not a part of the UFO community, as you stated publicly multiple times. You can't make that statement and me just sit by and go, yeah, he's right, because I like him as a friend. It has existed time and time again in the UFO community. The Roswell slides, the alien autopsy video, which was proven to be people on a farm, right? So that's false. Again, another false statement. Jesus Christ, dude, I don't know what to do with you, bro. Like, God, like,
I try to like you, man, but you can't just make statements and just hope that your like ability to carry your, I don't even know, like you just like literally that's false, right? Like you can't, I'm not here to like or dislike anything. I'm just here to state facts. So you can't say like, it's never existed before. It has. And it has time and time again. And then those things were proven over time to be false. And I do believe that the MH370 videos will be proven false. But guys, listen, we've been here for fucking 4 hours and 12 minutes. And I only have so many limits as a human. So we're going to close the space. And Cryshlee, are you there? Cryshlee, can you hear me? You're not even muted. And by the way, she's not running from Ashton.
Okay, I got it. Okay. It wasn't letting me click for a minute.
It's okay. It's okay. Spaces suck.
Yeah.
Suck.
Wait, can I just I do want to make a comment though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Something that was said, particularly about source files. And it just kind of, again, points back to not having enough education on the subject. So maybe the perception is you need to have the exact project, but a source file is, I guess sometimes it can be referred to as the full thing, but for the most part, it refers to the files that make up the project. So that could be an image, that could be a model. That's a source file. That's where it came from. It was in the genesis of this video. And again, also to comment on the clouds, like we already all agree that the clouds match. That's why the whole argument was it was planted by the CIA. That's why it matches. I don't think we should really argue that anymore. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to say. Again, if you really have doubts about this, please look into what camera raw is and why it is the absolute nail, the only nail that we need in this coffin, to prove that these videos are fake. That's it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And you are a VFX expert, so that's great. We'll be hosting a space in like the next hour, an after space where you can come and voice your raw, real opinions and you won't be judged or drop down. You can call me a loser. You can call Cryshlee a loser. You can call Logan, probably Logan, a loser, but I love Logan.
Shane, can I?
Gritter, I'm going to let you go, but I will make this very clear that if I continue to let people open their microphones and go,
Grider, yeah.
Okay, Grider, I'm going to make this very clear. If I continue to let like you and other people I'm going to be here all fucking night, not having a good time. Because honestly, I brought Cryshlee here because her opinions matter to me on the fact that these videos are fake, right? And I've had a great time. I think the first 2 hours of this space were the best 2 hours we had before you all were here, right? I'm not here for clout. I am here for your money. You can do that up top at buymeacoffee.com/UFO Shane. But I will tell you this much. At least I'm honest about my grit, right? But to be real here, I've been fighting this uphill battle in videos for the last year, right? They're fake. They're not real. They are false. They are bullshit. They are trash. And you can look at ufology as a whole because it's where it all stems from, with people selling garbage and making tons and tons of money. Ashton, I know you're still here because once again, I know you're all to count. Post your CPM. Post your earnings on YouTube. Post your Twitter earnings. Be honest about it, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be honest about it, right? Like, I would. You should as well. Just be honest about it, dude. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with it. But to attack Cryshlee, which you did do, is the lowest of the low. And to leave as soon as I ask you a hard question is the lowest of the low. And regardless of, if my friend makes a mistake and I think that mistake is bullshit, I'm going to say, hey, man, you fucked up. You fucked up. Still love you. I still love you. I still care for you, but you fucked up. But I'm a real person like most people. So I'm going to let you go, Grider. And then that's it. And Ross, I'm sorry, man, but that's it. I can't keep going. I need like an hour to myself after work.
Thank you. I'm just trying to answer the question from before. I think it was Ross maybe that asked about the propaganda, right? Well, there hasn't been any propaganda videos, that are similar or that are imitations, but the GRU, which is like the new KGB, it's the Russian intelligence agency, they're the first ones that started this whole Diego Garcia mess. On March 14, 2014, 6 days after the plane disappeared, the GRU released a paper, a briefing document saying that their intelligence told them that their agents had been monitoring MH370 and that for some type of cargo, some type of illicit cargo, because like the fruit that was on there, it was like mangosteens, but that's not even in season. That's not, it's like, it just didn't make sense. And plus, like, Malaysia imports, you know, like that type of fruit. They don't even have a whole lot of exports. But the big thing is that this whole Diego Garcia and like U.S. military intercepting, the plane, that started with the GRU. That started with Russian intelligence. And this is like a classic Russian intelligence, you know, scheme, campaign. This is exactly what they want. They want you guys, they want everybody to fall for these disinformation campaigns, to have exactly what is happening happen. And it's like the Philip Wood, you know, the last thing I'll say, now that I've let you guys know, and please do, like, go to Google and type it in, March 14, 2014, GRU. You can find the press, it's there. They're the ones that started it. Now, the last thing I'll say is the Philip Wood story. You know, the Philip Wood, I know that was a 4chan April Fool's joke. That was posted on April Fool's on 4chan. It's been proven false. The EXIF data has been it's been proven that it's like logistically not possible, because they didn't even have cell phone service, you know, where you could like, I mean, besides, who's going to be kidnapped on an island in a black site prison, and like, they're gonna send out their like Mayday call by posting to 4chan? Like, what, do they want to be called like, you know, a slur before they die? I mean, it just makes no sense. Makes no sense. So, yeah, thanks for letting me close it out. I just didn't answer that propaganda.
Ryder, you did a good job.
Big, you know?
No, it is big, dude. And I love your passion, beating on your desk, and dude, I've been there, man. Dude, I love it. But honestly, I'm gonna open a space in like 35 minutes after this. It's gonna be an after dark space, but I'm just trying to chill with my friends. But if you want to come in there, Grider, you can. Cryshlee, you as well. Stone Date down there, Artist and Tony, we're just gonna have fun, and cause you have to look at things from the serious angle and just the, wow, this is crazy angle. And I enjoy both angles. I think that's the best part about having spaces, right? Right? That's the best fucking part. We'll do that. But, Cryshlee, thank you for joining. I know you didn't sign up for 4.5 hours, but it's what happened. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. You're the best. And this song is dedicated to you.
Got a permit for those guns? I got your permit right here. Permit denied.
This goes on to Cryshlee. Let's fucking go.
Dominoes falling right in the street. Baby, this time there's no retreat, there's no surrender. The devil is rising, a shadow from the past, feeding the flames of fire on the edge of fury. Time, running in out of time. Hear the ticking of the countdown clocks tonight. Girl, we need some last shot. If we're gonna make it like a survivor, we need some last shot. If we wanna take another way from here, we need a living passion to believe in. Burning hearts on the planet, feeling passion. If we're gonna make it like a survivor. From the ashes, Phoenix rise again, fighting for life, for good, for all that we believe in. Girl, we need some passion, if we're gonna make it like a true survivor.
That's David Hasselhoff, True Survivor from Kung Fury, the official video. We need some action if we're going to make it out of here, Cryshlee, and that's what you're doing. That's what you have been doing, and I love you and respect you so much for it. If you ever need my help, if someone is dragging you through the mud, don't worry. I will go even deeper than the mud to defend you because you are a true survivor, right? So I thank you so much for coming on my space for 4.5 hours. Jesus Christ. Like, that's a long space for me. We're trying to make it away from here, right? I feel like that song was very good, basically. So guys, I'm gonna unmute, remute, Cryshlee, if you have some final words for the space before I do the after space, go ahead. You can just tell me what you thought about the song. I can play it again.
Okay, sorry. It takes a second before I guess you unmute for it to actually unmute, but I appreciated the song.
But a mute doesn't affect the co-host though.
Oh, so could you have heard? Never mind. So yeah, I think that I agree. The song is great. I feel like we should keep momentum going. That's really all I have to say. If you are on the side of people who think that I'm like chill or whatever the other names that have been called, I just implore you to go and learn about some stuff before making these comments. That's it.
All right, I agree with that. By the way, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close out the space. We're gonna listen to another song while we do that. I will host another after space. Maybe Logan will host a space, and I will co-host that space. Logan, this is your cue to take my listeners and grift with me together. But regardless of that, here we go. The song also goes to Cryshlee. And when the song is over, we will close the space. Have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. Just fucking enjoy this topic. Have fun with this topic. Don't worry too much about it.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I
won't be afraid.
Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Thank you guys for joining. We really love you here. We appreciate it.
Stand by me.
People said UFO shouldn't get hell up in space anymore. He's the worst.
If the sky
well, I guess we proved that wrong today, haven't we?
should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble the sea.
Here we go. I won't cry. I won't cry.
I won't shed a tear.
Won't shed a tear.
Just as long
as you stand by me.
And